Hey everybody, how are you doing out there? Can I get some feedback from chat? Wait. Okay, am I streaming? I need your help, chat. I really need your help. Okay, OBS is acting sus as fuck. It just had an update, and it made things kind of easier for us to stream on. Oh, Geek Prime, hey, can you hear me? Can you give me the thumbs up? Can you be like, I hear you, Irene. I hear you out there. Wait, yeah, because like OBS had an update. My streaming software had an update. It should make things easier to connect to YouTube, like especially like there was an update that affected YouTube. Yes, I'm streaming. Okay, we had a little problems. I think I dropped you for a second there because OBS just like ate it, and you know it's because it's a new update. And shit is still getting kind of straightened out with that, and I'm sure they'll do a few packages. You know, they probably rolled it out a little too before it was ready for prime time, which yeah, that's the mood. But we are ready for prime time. It is literally prime. Is that what prime time? Can somebody tell me what prime time is? What it actually was prime time, like, right, in the old days, like, right, it was prime time was the sweet spot for your TV shows. Is it 5 o'clock? Was that the idea of prime time? What exactly, can somebody tell me? It's a little bit choppy. Okay, I'm not dropping frames. Is it current? It was a little bit choppy. That makes sense, actually, though. So anyway, speaking of choppy, things have been a little bit choppy lately with the Queen, and it makes me sad, because I hate to admit it, but, like, I really like Contra as a person, and I know that's totally parasocial. I don't know Contra as a person. Natalie Wynn, she's a person I don't know. I don't really know who she is. Chat, I don't know if you know this, but when you see a streamer, they never say play on... They say never play on patch day. That's... Hey, especially, what is that game? There's a game now that's out that's hot on Twitch, but it's like, you gotta watch out, because it'll break your graphics card if you're not careful. Is it New World? Is that what it's called? New World is the game that everybody's like, yeah, they want to play it, but like it's frying graphics card because it is not ready. It came out before it was ready. So, but yeah, never play on patch day. That's a good that's good advice, Toadsroon. So yeah, this is we got Contrapoints. Who I hate. I actually don't like doing like streams that are like calling out Contrapoints because I want, like, I don't know. I miss. Natalie, speaking of which, let's see if I can get chat figured out, right? Because I don't even know how this works. Maybe just like add a chat. The chat. We're gonna add the chat. Like it might actually. I wonder how chat is gonna work now. Media source. Ooh, green screen. Interesting. They added some cool stuff to this. They added some really cool stuff. We're not going to try out the green screen right now. I hope you don't mind. Game capture, display capture, color source, browser. Hey, is it browser? Maybe I use browser. Hey, what's up, Rebecca? Good to see you. Maybe I use browser. Text is not it. Scene is not it. Media, not a media source. Deprecated. I don't know what that is. Anyway, I think it's browser. I think it's usually browser that you add. I don't know, because like there I can see you, chat. So one good thing that OBS did is added an OBS window with chat in it. Good to see you, Geek Prime, Impact Suspect, Rebecca, and Totsaroon, all the rest. Let's see what we can do about this, because I want to get my chat on screen before we. You know what? Maybe we just start off with Contrapoints. Because, oh my God, might have to. Oh, I get it. I see what's happening now. This makes sense. Okay. There's the blue tunnel. We got the blue tunnel. That's pretty cool. Then let's try this again. So I'll start the Contrapoints video out if you don't mind, and then I'll get the chat on screen in the background so you don't have to wait for that. Because I know they got some bodies here on YouTube, right? We got more bodies than we got you, chat. I hope you don't feel bad about that, but my main audience is not the audience that's watching me live. It's those of you who see this not live as a video, and I appreciate the fuck out of you because you're really helping my views out right now. So let's see. I appreciate the fuck out of all of you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say I only appreciate the bodies. I love the bodies. I love you. I love everyone. What's up, Big? So let's go here. Yeah, I'm just getting used to, there was an update that was done. This is Irene talking about Chud Logic leaving the left. And I think, how did it flip over to this one? Going off, girl. Going off. Going off on Chud Logic. Okay, so anyway, if you don't know, Contra had a take. Chat. Contra had a take. Once again, and it broke the internet. It broke the internet because this was like a omega boomer take. This was an omega boomer take. This was like a take about, I guess, like queer culture, you could say. If you want to umbrella it all, you could umbrella it all in as queer culture. And it was like a mega fucking boomer take. It was a mega fucking boomer take. I don't hate Contra, just so everybody knows that. I like Contra. I enjoy Contra. But, I don't know what to do with this. We're gonna watch the DebateBros analyze Contra's take, right? And, I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of stands, right? And if you don't know, like, you know, if you're a cis person, you think that standing a trans creator when she gets canceled, that's really helpful, that you're doing your duty to the trans community, stop. Stop. You're not helping. You're enabling something that we want to help Contra get through. Something that people like me would like Contra to understand better, not to cancel the queen, because that's one of my rules. That's one of my rules in YouTube, in Twitch chat, is no canceling the queen, whether that's me or Contrapoints. Don't cancel any queens, okay? Unless it's the Queen of England, then you can cancel the Queen of England. But you know, Contrapoints, Irene points, don't cancel, right? So we're not trying to cancel the queen. We're not going for, you know, we're not trying to. I'm not, you know, like I wish that Contrapoints, like, you know, I wish that this wasn't going the way that it's going, but what can you do? What can you say? I don't know, chat. Let's get started on okay, so who do we have? We have Vaush with a take. We have Destiny with a take. Do we have Xanderhal with a take? I think we have Xanderhal. There's Vaush's YouTube. Not that. Not that. Okay. Let's grab that Xander. Do you want to start with the Xanderhal take? Okay, we can start with Xanderhal, because, like, hey chat, speaking of standing people, speaking of not helping people, I used to stan Xanderhal. I don't know if you know this. I used to be a Xander stan. I used to be like, oh, Xanderhal's live right now. Okay, so great. I'm gonna be ripping on Xanderhal live. That's good. Listen, I was in Xanderhal's community in the very beginning, and I liked the fact that you had a cis het dude bro, like, that seemed to get trans issues. And when, like, people like Mixed Vivian had issues with Xanderhal, I bit back. I brought Vivian on for a debate, and it ended up just being a complete wreck. Because, like, on one hand, chat, Vivian was wrong. Part of Vivian's criticism was literally this dude's age, right? And that's fucked up, okay? That's fucked up. That's a boomer take from Vivian, honestly. But part of Vivian's critique was what Xander and Riley Grace Rochon did with Calvin Guerra. And guess what, chat? Viv was right! Viv was 100% right. Viv was right. Viv was based. I didn't listen to her. I rolled right over her with basic debate tactics, and I obscured the truth. And I apologize for that. Actually, I might talk about that on Twitch tonight, because there's a lot of things that I've come a long way in 6 months. 6 months ago, I was a very different streamer. I had very different alliances. I was, you know, supporting people like Xanderhal, you know, like understanding people like Destiny. In my mind, trying to make their takes better. In my mind, trying to insert myself into the discourse. But a lot of what I did ended up reinforcing some of the shitty behaviors that these DebateBro creators had. So I don't want to dodge accountability. I want to talk about that, and we will talk about that on Twitch. But right now, let's take a look at Xander's point. Actually, you know what? Contrapoints is not problematic. Okay. Oh, okay. So I couldn't tell from the title. I think that Xander changed this title. The title before made it sound like maybe Contra fucked up, right? But now this doesn't sound like that. So let's put Xander on. Have we got Xander on there? And I'll try to put your chat on screen too. Sorry about that. It's like a new OBS setup. So, but yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what Xander's got to say.
It was a pretty good response. It didn't come off as like pleading or begging for an apology, and it didn't come off as being like, fuck you, I'm not apologizing. It came off as just a genuine explanation for why she tweeted what she did. So you got...
What is up with that intro for Xanderhal? Like, okay, so it kind of looks like a throwing star, like a ninja throwing star. You know, getting thrown and then stabbing into somebody. But with Xanderhal here, I feel like a lot of times that throwing star ends up like a boomerang and it comes back and hits him or something. Like, right, he steps in it a lot. And it kind of sucks because, like, you know, like I said, Xander and I had a really friendly relationship, you know, for a long time, right? Maybe too friendly. Maybe it blinded me to certain problematic aspects of Xanderhal's content. And I don't hate the dude, Xanderhal. I don't hate you. But yeah, you fuck up a lot. Done harm. And I can't pretend you're not, buddy. I can't pretend you're not doing harm. Because you are.
You guys know how
but we'll see if you're doing harm here.
Never miss. Like,
Oh, Rose Wrist had a take. He was also talked with a non-binary chatter about bi lesbians. It was pretty good. Okay, Rose Wrist, yeah, I'm sometimes really, sometimes pleasantly surprised by Rose Wrist. I don't like that Rose Wrist debated Lauren Southern. I haven't watched Rose Wrist's explanation for that. Maybe we should at some point. But, yeah, like, I'm not a fan of fucking debating Lauren Southern. I think that's a huge mistake. I don't like that Xanderhal did it. I don't like that Rose Wrist did it. It feels like perverse incentives, chat. It feels like perverse incentives at work, and we don't like to see that. We don't like to see that, because when you're here, you're not just here like trying to make your living, trying to make your money. You're affecting the world around you, especially on Twitch, right? Twitch is a very young audience, and what you're doing is you're forming a lot of people's political perspectives going forward. So I think there's a huge responsibility that comes with that. Excuse me. There's a huge responsibility that comes with that not a lot of creators seem to be taking very seriously, and I wish they would. Yeah, debating her was a bad move. Yes, indeed. I agree, Rebecca. So let's see what's going on with Xanderhal, and then we'll watch Vaush. We'll watch Destiny. Vaush, Destiny, Xanderhal. Rose Wrist. We'll watch Rose Wrist, and maybe we'll get a good take from Rose Wrist. It sounds like it, maybe.
Predict something, and it happens all the time, you know, just never missing. Well, recently Contrapoints put out a tweet that got her into a little bit of hot water, you know. The tweet basically...
Never missing. That's what Xanderhal said, like, when Philosophy Tube came out as trans, was like Xander had said something about Philosophy Tube maybe being an egg, and then when Philosophy Tube came out as trans, Xanderhal tweeted, "He don't miss," and a lot of people had problems with that one.
It's deleted now and I can't find it, but the tweet basically...
Gru's? Are you talking about Gru from Despicable Me? What do you mean, Gru?
Basically, you know,
it's an X.
It basically said that she can't understand Zoomer queer people because they have like a lot of contradictory opinions. Like, you can be an asexual slut who loves sex, or you know, you can be trans without being trans, or being heterosexual doesn't make you any less gay. Things like that. And I explained that what she probably meant by that was that a lot of more progressive, radical, young LGBT people tend to have really radical positions that older LGBT people don't understand because they seem counterintuitive to the general consensus in the LGBT community back when they were more radical and activist-leaning. And that was what I thought she probably meant by that tweet. Okay, I didn't think it was some, like, turfy, true scum, like...
And I agree. I don't think that's what Contra's doing, but there are turfs and there are true scums, and they fucking take, these people like Contrapoints. I know a TERF who likes Contrapoints in chat. If you've been around my YouTube or my Twitch, you probably know this TERF too. Yeah, Melissa Flower Dreams is a huge stan of Contrapoints, and like it's Contra. You shouldn't be getting stans like that. Like that's a problem. That shows you that there's a problem. So let's see. I think I got this. Wait. Go like this. Oh, sorry, chat. I'm just learning the new way of OBS and all the other stuff. Okay, so we do this, and we go to live chat, and then we grab this, and hopefully this is gonna give me exactly what I need. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Mail Tears? Good to see you. How much blame should we put on her? I don't know. Listen, I like Contrapoints. Just like so everybody understands. I really, really like Natalie. I don't want to put much blame at all. But I guess with great power comes great responsibility, and that's something that maybe Contra was never, quite ready for. I mean, Contra didn't sign up to be the, queen of BreadTube. It just kind of happened to her, and because of that, her takes have a pretty major effect. Okay, so there's that. Oh, that's not exactly what I wanted. I'm behind the browser. I know. Okay, I don't think that's how we want to do it. Let's here. I'll just mute this. There we go. I'm back. Yeah, I think I know how I'm gonna do this. I thought maybe OBS had done something to get YouTube chat on screen better, but I guess that's not quite there yet. We'll work on that. Well, oh my God, Xander, my dude, that's a weird freeze frame. Let me help you out, bud. Let me help you out.
Anti-non-binary people, anti-asexual. I didn't think it was anything like that. And
chat, I mean, like, just to be clear, Contra's one of the major reasons that that I got into this, right? Like, I don't hate Contra. I don't like. I'm not looking to cancel the queen. I really like Contra. I would like to help her be better, though. And I think that sometimes standing people like Contra when they are not understanding something, it actively prevents them from learning and growing. So.
Sure enough, Contrapoints put out a statement just yesterday clarifying her position on that tweet, and I think I was completely right. I've only read a bit of it so far, but I'm pretty sure I totally called exactly what she meant by that. So, let's read it. Oh God. So look, last night, it's true, I admit it, I confess it all, I started discourse.
So, wait, Xander's gonna start off with Contra's explanation with the second point, the second part of the Takemeister. Xander's going to start off with Contra's mot, when what Contra offered first for the discourse was a Bailey. So, we'll go back and look at the initial tweet, right? I want to make sure that we see that, but like I'm noticing already, the framing is a little bit skewed, maybe, just a little bit.
I wasn't trying to. But that's irrelevant now. It's too late to go back. And now, as the discourse starter, I'm feeling pangs of responsibility to at least try to leave things better than I found them. This isn't me defending myself, because first, who fucking gives a shit? Second, the best defense is always to ignore it, and I know that. I am not a fucking idiot. Third, I don't need to defend myself anyway, because at this point, there's nothing you can do to hurt me. Try though you may, you absolute goblins. No. I planted the seed, and this is simply my...
Contra, I am not a goblin, okay? I am not a goblin, okay? I'm not even a hater, Contra. I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody.
Attempt to nurture the crop to harvest. Does that make sense? No? Great.
Okay. Okay.
Got a good start here. The discourse about Gen Z queer people online saying things like I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, and casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid, and my claim that these statements are hard to figure out. Note, I'm not saying they aren't valid. I've never been big on deciding what is valid.
Wait, what's a boglin? What's a boglin? That sounds like some Lord of the Rings shit. I don't think she's free from criticism, but I don't know. That is the thing. That is the tough thing about Contrapoints, is so often there's a point to criticize. She misses the mark, but maybe some people go too far. Maybe some people, like I said, I don't think that Contrapoints and Melissa Flower Dreams are really as close together as Melissa would like to think, right? But Contrapoints, you gotta notice, if Melissa thinks that you agree with her, you've got a problem. If Vanessa... Contrapoints has her own Melissa, and Contrapoints' Melissa is named Vanessa. Ooh, we got corn? We got corn? When did we get corn? Chat, we got corn. I'm excited. Like, did YouTube update something, or is that just, like, is it just OBS that's updated? Everything feels so new. I like it. I really like it.
You're a horny asexual who loves to fuck, by all means continue. With mine maternal blessing. But surely you see that, to most people, the statement, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, is at face value very confusing, contradictory, and in so many words, hard to figure out. Sometimes I get the sense that people say these things in part because they enjoy the...
Okay, so it sounds like from the beginning, Contra's trying to say that she's offering a perspective of how these things are seen by an older generation. Not sure how much of an excuse that is, right? Because you can think of a lot of examples where you wouldn't want to take the viewpoint of the older generation and be like, yeah, this is like, you know, that like, you know, sometimes that anyway, at the same time, I don't want to neglect the fact that, you know, Contrapoints is effectively pointing out a lack of communication, a lack of understanding. We got giraffes. We got corn, we got giraffes, we got so much stuff. Boglins are toys from the 90s, okay. Plant in March, corn has plenty starch. Oh, hell yeah, I love starch. And I love corn. And I love Contra, okay? I don't want to cancel Contra.
Provocation of the seeming contradiction. But maybe I'm wrong.
At the same time, I don't want to, like, throw, you know... I don't want to throw non-binary people under the bus. And that's always been the conflict, hasn't it, right?
Just to be safe, I'm going to use my platform to explore these seemingly contradictory statements. Might, in fact, make sense.
She wasn't born in 1932. Yeah, she does that shit. She talks like she's more of a boomer than she actually is, right?
One thing I see a lot of people...
But what she seems to be saying here is that she's not really this much of a boomer, but rather she's giving voice to the confused status of boomers in this discourse, right? And that is fair. That is fair. That we gotta find some way. We should try to find some way to bridge the gap and to like reach boomers, because like some of the stuff that's pretty obvious to us might not be so obvious to somebody of a not actual boomers job, but like, you know, Gen X, like, you know.
People saying is that asexuality means lack of
sexual... Did I just call all Gen X people boomers? I'm sorry, chat. That's not what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Like, you know, like the...
attraction rather than no libido, meaning that asexual people might still desire sex, even absent of any specific object-oriented attraction. If that seems counterintuitive, consider that people often have sex for reasons other than sexual attraction, to feel attractive, to sustain a marriage, for money, etc., and that sex might still be enjoyable. I myself have had sex with people I wasn't attracted to, and occasionally even enjoyed it. It's fine. I'm fine. For another example, sometimes straight people have gay sex just to get off. Is a thing, so it makes sense that some people who never experience sexual attraction still might enjoy having sex, and in such a case, they could aptly be described as horny asexuals who love to fuck. I have a master's in philosophy. I don't know if I buy the heterosexual people who have gay sex just for fun thing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe that, okay? They're not heterosexual people having gay sex for fun, okay? Like,
I mean, here's my take on it, alright, chat? Now, oh wait, it's time for no comment check take meister. I'm gonna give a take meister, and that's the best way to start a take meister is to announce that you're gonna give a take meister. Full transparency, chat. Full transparency, okay? Here's my take meister. I don't think heterosexuals exist. Not really, chat. Not really. They probably do. They probably do exist. But what I'm trying to actually say is that if you take heterosexuality and homosexuality as hard binaries, and you say the only people that are heterosexual or homosexual are people with like what is it, like 1 on the Kinsey scale and 6 on the Kinsey, rainbow flags, hell yeah, you know what I mean, like the Kinsey scale, right? You know, between heterosexual and homosexual, there's like a number that represents fully hetero, there's a number that represents fully gay. I don't think there's that many people that are actually at these extremes. I don't think there's actually that many people that are just not attracted to, the same sex. I don't think there's that many people that are just not attracted to the opposite sex. I think that there's a lot more bisexuals than are recognized. And the reason we don't see this, chat, is because it's hard to be bisexual. It's hard to be bisexual. You kind of feel like you don't have a group. You don't have a posse. You don't have a crew when you're bisexual. And but in reality, I think most of us are bisexual, right? And there's very many flavors of bisexual too. There's some bisexuals that would almost never have sex with a partner of the same sex. There's some, hetero-romantic, homo-romantic. Like, there's a lot of sexual diversity. So the idea of these hard binaries, I don't think that it's as common as we're saying. I think that those are the real minorities. And chat, to make my take meister even spicier, what if I say that, like, I think that most people are probably non-binary? That's what she said. That's what she said. I think that most people are probably non-binary. I think I'm probably... Oh my god, chat. Did I just say that? I mean, I don't identify as non-binary, but, like, in terms of, like, likelihood, I kind of think it's more likely that, like... What am I trying to say? I think that gender is kind of a mindfuck. And that, like, I identify as female because it's closer to who I am. But I think that if we can use gender accelerationism to get to a place where some of the absurdity of gendered thinking, gendered identification is exposed, so we see it for as... Think about this, chat. I was, like, at the grocery store today, and I bought some groceries, and the, person bagging my groceries says, "Here you go, ma'am." Am I a ma'am? I mean, yeah, I'd rather be called ma'am than sir, but it's a little bit weird. Why does my gender identification have to come into, like, conversation at the grocery store? Does it really need that? Are there really many times when like, my sir or madamness is important to the conversation? Maybe not. Chat, maybe I'm non-binary. I don't know. Maybe once, we get further into this, and that's the other thing that I think too, is that, like, for all the complaining about xenopronouns, about, like, different types of gender identification, people always talk, oh yeah, the irrelevant Batman gender was what irrelevant pulled out. Realistically, people sometimes identify, like, things like, sometimes some people's gender identification is an attempt to better describe more about who they are as a person. I support this because I think that when you hear people talk about this and you hear people talk about their gender expression, you're forced to think about your own gender expression. And you're forced to consider, like, am I not more complicated than this binary? Maybe I am. And so the more that we have people say, I'm star gendered, and they're like, what is star gender? And they explain it to you, and you're like, okay. I think that actually opens up a space for talking about our subjective experience in greater depth. And so I'm really, supportive of this. And here are your groceries, fam. Yeah, there you go. Or, like, do you even need to say anything? You in person? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's even necessary, right? It just seems so random to, like, reference my gender ID, in most conversations. In most conversations, it might not be relevant. And where it is relevant, wouldn't it be better to, like, if you're going to talk about your subjective experience, wouldn't it be better to talk about it in greater nuance with greater detail? So I'm thinking, like, although, like, I identify as female, I'm thinking that in a world where that binary has been somewhat exploded, that maybe I don't identify as, that maybe there's a space for me to have a gender identification that's non-binary. And I think that's probably true for most people. Is that wild, chat? I hope I didn't blow anybody's mind with this take, Meister. But I've been thinking about this, and it makes sense to me. I mean, I don't know. Tell me if you think it's problematic in chat, okay?
It's not a thing.
Do I need to be canceled?
Sorry.
Maybe Contrapoints doesn't need to be canceled. Maybe nocommentchick needs to be canceled. I don't know.
I'm disavowing your straightness. Okay, you are gay if you do that.
I didn't really think this through.
There's nothing wrong with that, and you should engage with it.
I didn't really think this through, and that's why it's a hot take.
Part 2. The gay heterosexuals. Gay describes a sexual orientation, but it also describes a community and culture. So, to pick the most...
Okay, so this was definitely a take, Meister. It almost sounds, chat, it almost sounds like it was planned. When she said, like, there's nothing, you can't take me down, you can't cancel me. That's kind of refreshing, because a lot of the complaints about cancellation from larger content creators, like, they're so disingenuous. Vaush can't be canceled, Contra can't be canceled. Like, you know, when they're bitching about this shit, a lot of times it's pretty disingenuous. But that's awesome. I hope you can continue to think your gender. I think my hot take is great. Cool. Wait, what did Xanderhal just say? Let me rewind it. Maybe I missed it. I was like too concentrated on my own hot take. And like, you know, as I've been reminded, it's not always about me.
But it also describes a community and culture. So, to pick the most charitable example I can think of, some straight trans people continue to identify as gay because they remain deeply connected to the gay or lesbian community they belong to pre-transition. I think this is fine and valid, though again, at face value, when you say I'm straight now but still gay, it sounds like you're describing some kind of sexual identity quantum superposition.
Fuck, no, I gotta rewind this.
Pre-transition.
What was... Okay.
Sexual orientation, but it also describes a community and the heterosexual people who have gay sex just for fun thing. I'm be honest, I don't believe that, okay? They're not heterosexual people having gay sex for fun, okay? Like, it's not a thing. I'm sorry. I'm disavowing your straightness, okay? You are gay if you do that, all right? And there's nothing wrong with that, and you shouldn't...
I mean, it sounds more like you're bi if you do that, is what you're trying to say, Xanderhal, but I'm not even sure about that, like, right? I mean, here's another hot take. I'm gonna leave people's gender identification up to themselves. I'm not gonna jump in there and be like, I don't think you're actually straight. I don't think you're actually gay. No, dude, if you want to tell me, like, you know, listen, what you identify is what I will accept. I'm not gonna try to fucking tell you what your gender is. I'm not gonna try to tell you what your sexual orientation is. Even if I don't understand it, I'm gonna accept it. And that's the difference between Xanderhal and me.
Engage with it.
One of the
Part
differences.
2. The gay sexuals. Gay describes a sexual orientation, but it also describes a community and culture. So, to pick the most charitable example I can think of, some straight trans people continue to identify as gay because they remain deeply connected to the gay...
Steven can't be canceled. Yeah, that's the thing, is whenever these people get canceled, when you're a certain size, you just monetize that. You don't lose anything, you gain something, right? And Contra's gaining something. She's gaining attention. And I think what she's trying to do is make a take that sounds really bad and then explain what she means by it, and that it's not real. Like, she's trying to start a conversation, right?
Or lesbian community they belong to pre-transition.
Xanderhal is the decider of gayness, yeah.
I think this is fine and valid, though again, at face value, when you say I'm straight now but still gay, it sounds like you're describing some kind of sexual identity quantum superposition. I feel like a twinge of irritation.
Well, wait, I mean, you could also be talking about what is the name for this, chat? There's a name for this. It's like sexual fluidity, gender fluidity, right? That's what we're talking about.
Probably because
when Steven gets canceled, he buys a new pool.
I feel that this kind of fluidity is not available to gay trans people. I suspect, for example, the community would be irritated at me if I identified as both a lesbian woman and a heterosexual transvestite, but I guess I should have thought of that before being an autogonophilic menace to society.
So we got the Blanchard. We got the Blanchard in there. Okay, what was that? What was that? What was that? Like... Oh my god, I just gotta rewind this. I'm sorry, chat. I really want to understand. I really want to understand. Wait, okay, so... I'm straight now, but still gay. a twinge of irritation, probably because I feel that this... Okay, so she does understand the concept of fluidity is not available to gay trans people. I suspect, for example... Okay, so Contra's saying that as a gay trans person, the community would be irritated at me if I identified as both lesbian woman. Okay, what is this doing here? What? And a heterosexual transvestite. I guess I would... So she's used the word transsexual before, which is a word that a lot of trans meds use, right? When trans meds use transsexual, they mean to say, you know, transgender people, whatever, I am transsexual. I have the medical certification that I'm a real... I don't know. You know what I mean? That's the issue with trans meds, right? Is that they look at themselves as more valid for having that medical certification, which in the past was used to gatekeep trans people, but now they wear it as a badge of honor. I guess I should have thought that through before being an autogynephilic menace to society. Now, what's the problem with this? Okay, so autogynephilia, or AGP, doesn't exist. It's Blanchard. Blanchard is a transphobe theorist who takes mostly trans women. Blanchard talks about, I don't know, chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that Blanchard really talks about trans guys at all. And that's a big problem too. Hey, normalize, you know, acknowledging trans guys. How about that? How about we normalize acknowledging that trans guys exist, right? But Blanchard has this schema where he says, yeah, Blanchard, this you know, I don't know het or not, but like cis guy, right? That wrote about trans people, and there's like one side that is like AGP. So if you are a trans woman and you like women, Blanchard says you don't really like women. You're attracted to yourself as a woman. No. I mean, interesting idea, but no, not true. And if you're a trans woman and you like guys, well, you're really a gay guy who's not okay being gay. No, Blanchard. I'm not a gay guy. I just like cock.
Example, the community would be irritated at me if I identified as both a...
Everyone's an edge queen on Twitter. Yes, that's so true. I say that if you don't think it's gonna be well received on other platforms, maybe don't say it on Twitter. Oh, true. Yeah, that is an interesting thing. Yeah, and you remember my conversation with Drew Welty, right, where I talked about how I have a Twitter personality that's slightly different than my personality on Twitch, and yeah, Drew was like, yeah. Yeah, I think she says that because the transphobes would describe... Okay. So, I mean, and that's kind of her right. Oh, is it? Oh my god, I actually don't know, chat. I actually don't know. That's a complicated question. Is that her right? To you know, make that kind of... I mean, it is her identity that her gallows humor, which... That's what I consider this, is like gallows humor, right? You know, it's humor based on your oppression, right? And I say black people have the right to make, you know, humor based on their oppression. Gay people have the right to make humor based on their oppression. But the problem is with Contra here is that, like, she's making humor based on her oppression and on, you know, maybe non-binary people's oppression. So I don't know how I feel about that. If this autogynephilia hypothesis was true, wouldn't that mean that... Good point, Totsurun. So that's the fucked up thing, right? It's like, it's a very common experience for women to not be... to have trouble... And I totally relate to this. I have trouble being turned on when I don't perceive myself as being sexually desirable. Does that mean I want to have sex with myself? No. Does that mean I'm secretly a dude in my brain and I'm like imagining having sex with what I look like now? I'm imagining still having, you know, male genitalia and fucking me? No, that's a really weird champ idea, but no. And I mean, wow. Yeah, that's like, oh, this is really dicey. This is really dicey. But it's a very common experience, like, when you don't feel desirable, to have trouble being turned on. And when you do feel desirable, then there's like this flow to it. It's like, oh yeah, if everybody wants me, then yeah, I can be sexual as fuck. But if I'm afraid that I'm gross and I'm undesirable and I'm unfuckable, then I'm just kind of like, I can't get turned on. And that is normal, but among cis women and trans women. That is a very common experience for all women, right? Probably maybe for dudes too. I don't know. I'm not a dude, so I don't know. She is saying it sarcastically, but it doesn't translate because it isn't designated with a sarcasm. Yeah, it isn't /s or kappa or whatever.
Lesbian woman and a heterosexual transvestite, but I guess I should have thought of that before being an autogonophilic menace to society. That is clearly sarcasm. God, I'm depressed. Watching in horror as I type this.
I mean, it's sarcasm. It's also gallows humor. And yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of her thing, right? Because autogynophile, like, is applied to lesbian trans women, and that's how Contra identifies. So I mean, it makes sense. It's just like, I know that there's some people that are gonna feel really queasy, like, listening to that. There's some trans people that's gonna hurt, and I think you got to think of that too. Especially when you're a creator the size of Contra.
Where's my jewel? Look, you can call me a very old boomer. That's fair. A very old boomer MILF. I'm so glad I MILF-pilled Contrapoints. That was all me, by the way. I MILF-pilled Contrapoints. Of course, it's not just Gen Z that uses a cryptic, provocative discourse style. I originally started Contrapoints partially out of frustration that millennial SJW activists were attempting to communicate basically true and important ideas in an extremely inarticulate, irrational, sloganeering, dogmatic. No, I will not elaborate on that. And if you disagree,
did she say irrational? I've never heard that word before. What's up, Eudaimonia? She made a good video about it back in the day. Wait, which one did she? About Blanchard? About Blanchard and his weird champ schema?
Agree, you're the enemy rhetorical mode that was off-putting to almost everyone. I always wanted to be understood, to explain myself clearly and patiently to people who just genuinely didn't get it.
Sure, Zan, sure.
And now that Gen Z is leading online discourse, I find myself irritated by the same rhetorical trends that used to bother me in millennials. But now I sound old when I complain about it. Fuck. You know, I'd say it's a pretty...
Wait, is she complaining about it? I thought it was a Takemeister. Wait, are you complaining about it or not? God, Contra... There's also this thing where Contra has this thing where she, like... What was that video where she, like, she has, like, a... She's, like, dressed in a noir way. She's dressed like a character from a noir detective movie, right? Like, she's got this, like, weird hat on, and she's like... sometimes I think I'm an old-fashioned transsexual, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of irrational, like yeah. Like, not irrational, but like irrational. Not like, so you got like okay, so you got like moral, immoral, right? And you got moral, no comment chick, immoral. Think of a creator, Hansa Park here. And amoral, Chud logic? I don't know, Chad. I'm having trouble here. But yeah. But so wait, you got rational, you got irrational, and you got irrational. What the fuck is? I still don't understand. What is irrational? Does anybody know this? Or did she actually even say that? The wide brimmed hat on men. Oh yeah, that's right. That was the Jordan Peterson video. Yeah.
Damn good response. At first, I was kind of like she didn't have to respond. Come on, Contra, you don't have to respond to this. This is the dumbest fucking drama ever.
What? Why is... Did Xanderhal fuck up on this video? Or am I fucking up on it, son?
Contra, don't! But then I read this, and I gotta say, it was a pretty...
He's out of sync. Why is he out of sync? What happened? Oh wait, chat. I bet I know what happened. This happened once to me on with a VOD. Like I had a VOD. Well, it was a Twitch VOD though. I don't actually know, chat. I don't actually know. Anyway,
pretty good response. It didn't come.
I won't obsess over it.
Off as like pleading or begging.
Xanderhal, I'm not getting on you over. You know, like you make a lot of videos. It's understandable if one of them is out of sync.
For an apology, and it didn't come off as being like, fuck you, I'm not apologizing. It came off as just a genuine explanation for why she tweeted what she did. A more contextful, like, reiteration of what the tweet meant. And frankly, I like that because, you know, it was clear that when she made that tweet, she wasn't just trying to be provocative or trying to start discourse. She was genuinely trying to exclaim that sometimes a lot of like Gen Z LGBT people's positions and slogans tend to be very counterintuitive, especially to the average person who is looking from the outside.
The average person? Wait a minute. What's the average age? Chat. Is the average person not a Gen Zer by now? If you take like age and you find a median, right? So you take the youngest person, you take the oldest person, and everyone in between, and you go boop, 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 and find the median person. Isn't that a Gen Zer? Am I wrong? Is that a Gen Zer? Would the middle person be, you know, maybe an elder Gen Z person, right? Isn't that about where... I don't know, chat. Isn't the average age like... Or the average is mean, so... But, like, I mean, I don't know, right?
And I'm glad that she elaborated here, because I think this is way, way, way more agreeable than the original tweet was. But, to be fair, that's Twitter. Twitter doesn't allow you to add a lot of context to what you want to tweet. There's a character limit. It encourages
280 characters. You can hit thread 1 out of 2 out of 3 out of 4 out of 5. You know, there's not really a limit. But I get what you're saying, that there's a limit to what people... Oh, yeah, that is true. Even though there's not a character limit, I think what Xander's more speaking to is the attention limit. So if I am scrolling through my Twitter, and like I've done this once where I like kind of like watched, I was just like watching myself. I was like, okay, what do I stop on? I don't tend to stop on, if you use 280 characters in a tweet, I usually won't stop on your tweet. I'll keep on going. I'll be like, I can't get it. Like, I will read something that I can grok in like 5 seconds, you know? But anything else, I'm less likely to stop. It's only if like I like the person behind the tweet, or, you know, something jumps out to me, that I stop on one of those longer tweets. So there is a point to what Xander's saying in terms of it's not so much about the character limit, it's about our limit for attention span, especially as Twitter, you know, if you're scrolling Twitter, you know, you got kind of a limit, right? So, you know, I mean, that's true. A short, quippy tweet will get read, will get understood, will get grokked, more than a long, winding thread.
Just people to just see the hot take, or just to tweet the hot take. And
at the very least, if you include some millennials, it's a majority. Wait, what's a majority? I'm sorry.
Quote.
Oh, average age is what? Depending on your country. Okay, I was wrong. So 40 to 50. So what? Really? Wait. What does that mean then? Does that mean that yeah, there's a lot of boomers. The reason they're called boomers is because there was a baby boom and everybody was having babies. It was like the end thing to do, I guess. And so that's why there's a lot of boomers, and maybe so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know. I thought that the average person would be you know, Gen Z by now, but maybe not.
Tweet it and comment and spread it around and try to start discourse over it.
Average age in the US is lower 38? Between, wait, what is Gen X? Okay, 40 and 50 is Gen X. 38 is millennial. Okay, so the average age is in upper millennial then. Yeah, elder millennial. Eldritch millennial, yes.
But that's the...
We love our eldritch millennials, okay? We love our eldritch millennials.
Way that Twitter works. But I do think it's nice that I ended up being completely correct about what she meant by that tweet. And I am also glad that she... you know, she is still MILF-pilled. I'm glad my continued MILF-pilling of Contrapoints...
Oldest millennials are 40. Time flies. Yeah, I guess.
Has worked out. In fact...
Especially under COVID, right?
I'm going to tweet just that.
Chat, would you like it if I did this? Would you like it if I had... I don't ever do this. I don't ever, like, really interact with Twitter. Like, if I interact with Twitter on stream, I'm just, you know, it's... I don't enjoy it. I don't know. I'm not a huge Twitter fan, honestly. Like, for me, Twitter is like my front yard, okay? And it's just for, like, stream announcements. It's for announcements of what I'm going to be doing. It's for, you know, maybe for interacting with people, but not that much. It's more for, like, I use Twitter more as a, like, out, you know, like, to send, you know, like, I use my own timeline, let's just put it that way, more than I use, or my own, timeline more than I use, like, other people's timelines, right? So, and maybe that's a mistake. Twitter definitely doesn't like me for that. I would have a lot more followers if I, you know, interacted more. But, like, I consider it like my front yard, and it's kind of like I like to keep the drama off of Twitter, which is another weird thing. Twitter likes drama. So it's like kind of like if somebody brings, like, bullshit on my Twitter, it's kind of like, you just take a shit in my front yard, and now I'm gonna kick your ass and make sure you never do that again. Like, that's when I'll come after you. If I'm on Twitter just, like, posting, like, a stream announcement and somebody fucking brings drama to me, I generally bite their heads off. And maybe that's wrong, chat. Maybe that's wrong. Trolling fascists on Twitter is praxis and fun. Yeah, listen, it's a lot easier to do that kind of interaction since they changed it so that not every comment that you make ends up on other people's timelines, right? It's a lot easier now that that's, like...
Amazing. Hey, don't make fun of the way I type.
Seems like streamers need Twitter for work. I bet that perpetuates some of the toxicity on Twitch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't fuck with that. I mean, like, let me see. I think I tweeted something contentious at Demon Mama once, but I wasn't contentious enough for her to block me, so.
Don't make fun of the way I type. Don't do it. Stop it. Xan has evolved from hunting mills.
Yeah, I guess in some ways I still abide by at least part of the imps code. I don't really like to what is it? Do not engage on Twitter. Do not. What was the word that she uses in the imps code?
To creating MILFs, I make them now. I manufacture MILFs. Okay, I'm a MILF maker.
Wait, what does that mean? Does that mean that, like, before you get to them, they're mothers, but you don't like to fuck them? Or does that mean that before you get to them, you like to fuck them, but they're not mothers? Is that what that is? Is that what he's saying? He likes to fuck older women and get them pregnant? Is that what he means by that? That's kind of funny.
Manufacturer, okay? I manufacture crystal MILF.
Damn. Okay, well, he's definitely up on his meme game. He's definitely upped his meme game. Stop discoursing. Yeah. I mean, that kind of is what that's kind of what I do. Yeah. Although I don't set up fights. I don't set up debates on Twitch most of the time. The last time I did that was Drew Welty. But then again, Drew Welty and I were scheduled to talk anyway. So.
Jesser, where's the
Jesus, Xan, stop.
Crystal MILF? Where's the cocainer?
Wait, is this not okay? Is Xanderhal's MILF thing not okay? I don't know, chat. Like.
All right, guys. Do we want to watch this this other thing that Sherry sent me? Let's do it. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, ring the goddamn.
All right. Well, that was Xanderhal's video, short and succinct, and to the point. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, just as we would have expected, Xan's always a stand. There's one time, I think, that Xan criticized Contrapoints, but it was pretty circumspect. Oh my god. Destiny. Let's take a look at Perenstiny, see what Perenstiny has to say. Oh my god, are we ready?
Action is complicated.
Wait a minute. Destiny, are you editing? Is your editor using... This looks like DaVinci Resolve. I only know this because I used DaVinci Resolve, chat. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
and I think that all sorts of people can have attractions to all sorts of things.
No, that really feels like Da Vinci.
But the labeling of every single type of specific fucking thing is ultra fucking cringe. It is ultra cringe, and it makes you look like a closed-minded loser.
I don't know, Xander. I think it's ultra based, and you saying it's ultra cringe makes you look like a fucking boomer.
Okay? I like to fuck women, and I like to mess with men. And there's like a wide variety of people.
I mean, good for you, but like, oh my god, chat, I should be deleting my F words. Hey, can somebody explain to me? What does Twitter do when I curse? Like when I say the F word and I don't bleep it, Twitter. Why am I saying Twitter? I mean YouTube. We were talking about Twitter. Now I'm meaning YouTube. Okay, what does YouTube do with my F words? Because somebody told me that like if you use too many F words, the algorithm is just like bleh. Ew, right? But like I see videos with F words in it do pretty well, so I wonder, wait, does it really not fuck with you? I don't know, chat. I don't know.
Both those categories that I would fuck.
Maybe all I ever get is search, and it's because of my F words. It's because I use the F word.
Play with, but I would never in my life be like, I have an attraction to like femme.
Wait, so Destiny, you like to fuck with men. You like to fuck with women. Cool. Do you have to do the, like, cringe, like, 90s, stereotypical, like, I don't know. Like, what is this, chat? This is some fucking Adam Sandler shit here. Oh my god, I said the F word again. I'll try to stop, chat. I'll try to stop.
Presenting
What's wrong with being like this, Destiny? Why is that shameful? Why is it shameful? Listen, Destiny, what people are talking about is their subjective experience, okay? They're talking about their subjective experience with each other, and you should try it too. Because Destiny, I'm sure you've got an amazing inner subjective world that would be really interesting to us to know about, to know exactly, you know, like what's going on inside that noggin of yours. I'd love to know it, Destiny, but if you think you're cringe, you're never gonna get there. And we're missing out. We're missing out on Destiny, but he's missing out on really being able to connect in a way, right? The thing that he's laughing at is a thing that Gen Zers are using to connect with each other on a deeper level. And that's actually just kind of sad. If you think it's cringe, I mean, I don't know, dude, that's your loss. I've heard that swearing in the first few minutes of YouTube, yes, I heard about that. Demonetized, but what I mean is the algorithm, okay? Demonetization happens, a lot of my shit gets demonetized, chat, and that is why, if you want to help out, you can click the link tree, you can find my Patreon, you can sign up on Patreon and donate there, or you can give directly to me in PayPal, Streamlabs, there's a lot of different ways to support me that let me get paid, even though I don't get monetized. Like, the shit that I talk about is... Shit. Stop cursing. Okay. The stuff that I talk about is, you know, controversial. The stuff that I talk about is controversial, and because of that, I don't get monetized a lot. So, yeah, I'm not making a lot of money from YouTube. In fact, until I get my tax shit settled with Google, I'm not making any money from YouTube. So, you can really help me a lot by that. We will try to get super chats back on there, but understand, when you make a super chat, you're giving like half of the money to YouTube, half of the money to me. It's always better. It's always better to skirt around there and just click on the link tree instead. But yeah, like this, I'm not as like, you know, monetization, that horse has left the stable, that ship has sailed, right? But I'm more interested in the algorithm, right? Because I get a lot of views by search. I don't think I get a lot of views by recommendation, and that's the algorithm fucking with you. I'll learn to... I need to, like, stop. I don't know about swearing in the algorithm. I just heard people say... Nobody knows. Listen, the algorithm is a cargo cult. Nobody knows how it works. Maybe when I say algorithm, maybe that deeper... Maybe the algorithm doesn't like you talking about it. I don't know, chat. The algorithm could have anything in it. Nobody knows. That's the whole point. And YouTube does not want you to know.
Binary, genderqueer men. Like, why the f*** would you ever have so many qualifiers before anybody you're gonna hook up with, right? Like,
wait, does he think that Zoomers, like, hooking up are like, okay, we're gonna have sex now, And I consent to that. Do you consent to that? Okay, good. I just wanted to let you know my gender identification is, like, I don't know where Destiny's getting this shit. Like, right?
Call yourself bisexual or pansexual and be done with it. Like, holy shit. The idea that you have to have like 50 million.
But Destiny, what, do you just like not want to talk about it? Like, do you just not want to like? I mean, I feel like there's still some shame here. Like, I'm glad that you're able to talk about you're being bisexual. I'm glad that you're able to talk about being non-binary. But like, I don't know why you should feel it's shameful. I don't know why you should feel it's cringe. I don't get it, Destiny. I don't think you should feel bad for talking about that stuff. I appreciate when people talk about that stuff.
Qualifiers, like you're making a program, like you're putting together the most complicated.
Why are you so triggered by this too? Why are you so angry, Destiny?
Database in the history of mankind with 50 million tags for every single type of person.
I mean, like, how many tags do we have on your YouTube videos? Like, right?
Destiny, you're making fun of
then again, tags don't really matter on YouTube anymore.
This person, but you yourself would actually be a non-binary man as you describe your experience on stream. We said you feel really comfortable as a man around female partners, but you don't feel the same around male partners. First of all, I've never said that I don't feel like a man around male partners. Never said that ever. My original take has always been that, like, I'm not particularly attached to my gender or sex. I don't really give a that much. If I woke up as a woman,
the Happy Meal, the irrelevant,
I don't care. I just don't care that it's just, when I think of me, that's just not one of the first things that comes to my mind. Like, oh yeah, male. It's not something I care about that much. That being said, I don't mind being a guy. I don't mind my male privilege. What
was that?
I don't mind being a guy. It's cool. But like, the thing is what happened, and I've said this a million times, okay? Like, in the late 90s, early 2000s, what happened was we were expanding all of these categories to be more inclusive.
Okay.
That, like, men and male, masculine, can include way more things. Or female, or femme, or woman can also include way more things.
Yeah, but saying you're male then doesn't describe all those things, since it can include so many things. Destiny, I would say that maybe you need some tags if you want to describe those things. Like, I don't understand what your commitment is to, like, not talking about these things. I feel like you're like committing to like a less expanded sense of self, a less expanded ability to describe your subjective experience around gender. I don't understand why you'd want to limit your expression in this way. I don't understand.
Even like trans people, which is cool. That's fine. But now it feels like we want to close it off again. No, we can't have these really wide categories. Now we have everything is incredibly narrowly defined. There's like 50 million different kinds of fucking categories. And I'm sorry if this makes me sound like an asshole, and sorry if this comes off as transphobic, but it legitimately feels like there are a lot of cisgender, heterosexual men and women that are like trying to desperately grab at tags because being cishet is like lame. That's honestly what it feels like. When you get somebody that's like, oh, like, I'm like a non-binary genderqueer person, but I still use he, him pronouns and I present as men and I generally only like to fuck women. You're fucking heterosexual, okay? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, just stop. You don't have to have 50 fucking tags to be special. Like, holy shit. It's like, I don't.
Also, can somebody tell me where? I feel like Destiny's staying somewhere. Is this a different? Like, this isn't Destiny's normal room, right?
No, like, it's so weird because I barely consider myself bisexual. Because I've only like messed with like 5 guys. But like these
citation needed
guys will full on, like the Vaushes of the world, like, oh, I'm a pansexual, blah 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 blah. But I've like never been with a guy.
Wait, Vaush is too into like describing his subjective experience for you? Really? Vaush? Really?
Like, what?
Destiny, Vaush trad, okay? Vaush fucking trad. I don't know if you think Vaush is like some kind of wild, I don't know. Sennheiser headphones. What a noob.
What the fuck are you? What are you even talking about? I only date women. Okay, you're just fucking heterosexual, dude. You don't need like 50 tags, all right? Call yourself a social. There's a ton of political tags that you can go and grab, right? Like, you can be the anarcho-syndactylactical, whatever the fuck you want. Go do that shit, you know? Yeah, I don't know. But Jesus Christ, okay? Did you see the respectable lawyer dude say that blowing up a pipeline isn't terrorism? The respectable lawyer guy, I'll say it. I don't know if I said it before. I don't think he's a real lawyer. I don't think so. I think he's a fake lawyer. This guy tweets way too much. He's online way too much. But I will also say this.
Anarcho-pterodactyl.
And I will say this with a lot of confidence, okay? I hope there are lawyers in chat that get mad at me. A lot of lawyers talk a lot of shit and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know what it is, but it's like one of the few professions that requires a lot of, like, I shouldn't say specialized education. You get like a law degree. You don't specialize in law, I guess, unless you go further. But for some reason, like, a lot of lawyers talk a lot of shit about stuff that they have no fucking idea what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know why lawyers do that. It actually blows my fucking mind. Because it seems like in general, because the other, like...
Could it be that the courtroom, and if we're talking about trial lawyers, okay, I don't know. Like, so if you don't know, chat, the lawyers you see on TV are usually trial lawyers. That's the lawyer that goes to court. That's the lawyer that, you know, does cases. Like, that's a trial lawyer. There's a lot of different types of lawyers that, you know, sometimes don't even get into that stuff. But I think Destiny's talking about trial lawyers here. And I would say that the advantage to being able to sound like you know what you're talking about when you don't, that should speak for itself, Destiny. Because the truth of the matter is nobody can know all things, but you are trusted based on your presentation of how knowledgeable you are. So if there's a reason for lawyers to sound like they know what they're talking about when they're really talking out of their ass, there it is. They get a lot of practice in that. They probably find a lot of utility in that for trial lawyers. The power goes to their head, I imagine. Yeah, what's with the people who do that, Steven? Oh, wait, no. Mike from PA. Was Mike from PA a lawyer? Or was Mike from PA, like, not a... Oh, God, there was some weird thing with Mike from PA.
Respected professional careers like doctors. Usually when I talk to people that like go to med school, generally like the people that have graduated and are especially practicing are usually really fucking careful when I talk to them. Like I can talk to a dude that is like a practicing fucking ER doc or whatever and like ask him some shit and he'll be like, you know, I think this, I remember this in med school, but I don't 100%. Like they're usually like really careful. But like you ask a lawyer any fucking question about anything and they're like, oh yeah, let me tell, oh 100% this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, have you like, do you practice law in that area? I have no idea. Oh, do you know like any of like the precedents or like do you know any of the cases or like could you cite me a single case that has to like support? I don't fucking know anything. Why the fuck are you? Why the fuck are you even pretending to know anything about what the fuck you're talking about? I don't know why it is the case, but I will say, okay, I'm not shitting on Pisco by the way. I love Pisco. If somebody says they're a lawyer online, number one, half the time they're lying, and number two, even if they're telling the truth, there is zero guarantee that just because they're a lawyer, they have any fucking idea that they know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know why, okay, but that's just been some of my experience. But also, I'm a video game streamer, loser dipshit who flunked college in music, so, you know, fuck me. You don't have to believe anything I say, okay?
But chat, don't touch the man's saxophone, okay? Don't touch the man's saxophone.
Okay. Have you seen Contrapoint's new tweet? Seems like she identifies a lot on the same issue you're seeing in the discourse. Oh God, so look, last night it's true. I admit it, I confessed it all. I started discourse, was trying to, but that's probably... The discourse is about Gen Z queer people online saying things like, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, and casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid, and my claim that these statements are hard to figure out. Note, I'm not saying they aren't valid. Oh God. They don't have to be valid. Just because your feelings are valid doesn't mean that everything you think is logically like consistent or logically valid, okay? These are two totally different things, all right? If you're a horny asexual who loves to fuck, by all means continue with my maternal blessing. But surely you see that, to most people, the statement, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck is, at face value, confusing, contradictory, and, in so many words, hard to figure out. True.
Meow, Steven.
One thing I see a lot of people saying is that asexuality means lack of sexual attraction rather than no libido, meaning that asexual people might still desire sex even absent any specific object-oriented attraction. Okay.
What's up, Gusly?
For another example, sometimes straight people have...
You had a law student roommate over the summer during undergrad, and he was fine.
Gay sex just to get off. It's a thing, so it makes sense that some people... Dude, even Contra, I'm sorry. Listen, homie. If you're having a guy suck you off because you're horny, it's a little bit gay, okay? I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, all right? If you're a guy and you fuck your bro just because you're really horny, you might be a little bit gay. Just a little bit. Now, there's no problem with that. You might be a little gay. It's okay to be a little gay, okay? We call them bisexuality, okay? We call them pansexuals, all right? It's okay to do that. What is the difference between...
I mean, listen, I just made the mistake. I just made the take that I said that I think most people are probably bi. Like, truth be told, I think most people are somewhere in the bisexual area of the spectrum, right? That being said, I sort of understand the need to... Like, some of identification is like about what you're comfortable with, right? And, oh God, I mean, like, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that there's probably subjective reasons for these people to identify the way that they identify, and I don't feel comfortable telling them they're wrong. Even if it sounds, if it doesn't make sense to me. I'm assuming that they're identifying the way that they're identifying because it makes sense to them. And that's what's more important as far as their identification. Does my, take on their identification really bear any, does that really have any merit? Not really.
Pan and bi? I have no idea. I just say pansexual instead of bisexual because it sounds better. I don't fucking know, okay? I'm bisexual because I'll fuck most people. Pansexual people are like, I'm attracted to you, regardless of any gender you have. Like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
I mean, in general, from what I understand about pansexuality, which I'm pansexual. Yeah, I'm pansexual. It's that you're attracted to people, and that, like, you might be attracted to certain people more than other people, but that in the end, it's the person, not the gender, that you're attracted to. That may not be universal for pan people. And I'm not trying to speak for all pan people, but that's what it means to me. Is, as one of my exes once said, you love who you love.
So you're not...
And I guess you fuck who you fuck, and you're attracted to who you're attracted to, right?
Attracted to any feminine or masculine feel. I don't know what the fuck. I don't care, okay? I don't care how you rationalize,
Listen, dude, you are, like, not caring at an extremely high volume with, like, wild gesticulations of your hands, right? So that's an interesting way of non-caring. But Destiny, you are valid. You are valid.
How you like to feel special because you like to stick things in your vagina.
Bi doesn't necessarily include non-binary people, yeah.
Or have things around your penis, okay? Whatever special words you need to use to feel cool because it feels like people, listen, here is the real void pill on it, okay?
Void pill? Oh,
here's the real void pill. People are empty today.
I haven't been hanging around DGG enough. I don't know about the void pill.
We don't have a lot of purpose in life. We have a lot of free time. We're not spending all day.
Speak for yourself, bud. Speak for yourself. We have a lot of free time? Jesus Christ, that's your privilege talking.
Hey, on the fucking farm, okay, doing hay bales. We don't have a lot of shit that gives us meaning or purpose, so we go to places where we can try to find it. And sometimes cool little, like, words that make you feel unique or special, or like I'm a sapiosexual, or I'm like an asexual that has sexual attraction, or I'm a heteroromantic pansexual, genderqueer, non-binary that still uses she, her pronouns, and I still identify as a woman, but I'm not cis. Like, I think that it's
See, like, with the pronoun thing, like, these debate bros, they usually bristle at that because it's an imposition for them to remember, more pronouns. They don't like that, right? So I guess I understand that. I mean, I still I like to validate people's gender identification, but, like, I guess I see why why that makes you mad, but what I don't get is, like, this stuff. Why does this make you mad? because nobody's asking you to call them sapiosexual when you address them. Nobody's asking you to, like, you don't even have to, like, remember this, like, right? Nobody's canceling you. Nobody's mad at you. Nobody's saying that you're a piece of shit for not, like, right? I don't know. I feel like what you're doing is, like, hippie punching, right? Is you've got these people that are, like, more progressive than you, and you know that you can make hay off of the right, which is what this asshole's doing. Like, let's be real. This fucker's playing to the crowd. He's playing to the chuds in a big way, right? Yeah, and you know that you can activate their outrage machine with this shit. You've learned right-wing outrage farming is what you've done, Destiny.
It's like, if you don't have anything in your life that makes you feel really special, these are kind of like the things that we reach for. And you know what? That's what you want to do. Fuck it, I guess. Just don't call me.
Wait. If that's what you want to do, okay, cool. Are we cool? Are we cool, Destiny? Are we cool? Can they do that? Is it okay? Do we have your approval? Do we have Destiny's approval? Is that okay? Is that okay?
Fucking transphobic. When I what did the Brits say?
You like fucking want me to call you transphobic? Why don't fucking
take the piss out of you a little bit, okay? Jesus. Oh. Like, it feels like unironically, like we're gonna get to a point. I don't know if it'll happen, but it might actually happen. I feel like we're gonna get to the.
Wait, I don't get this. I don't get this stream. Can somebody explain to me what's going on with Destiny? First of all, he looks like he's in a different place. Is he visiting family or something? I don't know. And second of all, his setup is like just like is there something where like big streamers with great setups, with perfect ideal setups, are now like being like, you know what? There's like a scuff streamer aesthetic. I kind of like that. Is there some kind of market testing where they're like, actually, they like a little bit of the scuff? Can you get it so that when you bang the desk that the camera moves a little bit? Yeah, that's really good. And it's like, it's almost like he's trying to imitate me. It's like, Destiny, I am the original scuff streamer. I mean, like, I don't know why you'd want to. Do you want to borrow my webcam too, bud? Do you want to borrow my webcam?
Point to where like saying that like you're straight is gonna be like the new like edgy statement. It's like the it's okay to be white thing. Or I guess that's like the super straight thing, right?
I think bi does include non-binary people. But these words mean different. Yeah, good point. There's not like a really, there's not a hard and fast definition for a lot of this stuff. And I think that's what frustrates people like Destiny, is his mind likes simple categories and very few of them.
I don't know, dude. The world is crazy. The world is crazy. It's a crazy world out there, okay? Be careful. I can't believe this clip still gets mileage.
Wait, what clip are we talking about? Is he gonna play it?
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Now, to be clear, it sounds like he is hetero-romantic, but bisexual.
Gender is too fluid for him to argue against. It's weird because he is like it's not like he doesn't understand this stuff. It's not like this stuff isn't part of his life, but he still has to find some hippies to punch. I feel like he still has to find some hippies to punch.
Sexual/pansexual. Categories that explain what you want materially are understandable. Categories that explain your feelings are a little bit more perilous. I say this absolutely knowing that trans folks have this.
Why is it perilous?
Okay, but this is my problem.
What is the danger?
When you're inventing a new category,
Wait, perilous? How is it perilous? What's gonna happen, Destiny? Are you gonna get sucked into the gender vortex? What's gonna go on? What's gonna happen? Are you gonna come out a Starwolf? What are you worried about? What are you afraid of? Are you gonna come out Batman gendered? What are you worried about?
Seconds.
I don't get it.
I don't know what the fuck any of those mean. Not to mention the fact that, sorry, most people probably just use these as fucking memes, okay? I have met girls on Tinder that say they are sapiosexual who will fuck on the first date, okay?
Wait, I thought that was demisexual. Wait, what chat, oh my god. Can somebody remind me what sapiosexual is?
Sapiosexual are you? Now, maybe just, and I've seen a lot of girls on Tinder say a lot of crazy shit that like, here's the thing. I don't know if you noticed it before. Every girl that has like socialist or communist in her profile on Tinder doesn't even, like, if you argue.
Steven is more Happy Meal than banana.
For like 2 seconds, you're like, oh, I don't know. I just like...
Banana, what kind of apple even is this?
I supported Bernie Sanders.
Oh, attracted to intelligence. Wait, how... I think he's confusing it with demisexual then. Okay, yeah.
Like, I'll be like, oh, shit, like, are you against, like, markets? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just thought, like,
Destiny, being surprised that, like, women that are people that are sapiosexual want to fuck you. I mean, I don't think you're a dumb person. Like, right?
Careful, always cool. It's like, oh, I thought you were going to show like a Che Guevara shirt or some shit, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like, so most of these people use, like, all of these terms are used incredibly nebulously, or they'll have, like, the most esoteric words to describe their fucking... I don't know. I don't know what the fuck any of this shit... I start talking to somebody, and then I'll sex with somebody.
Like, I feel like this is... Oh, who is that guy? Chat, can somebody tell me? There's, like, a 90s comic. There's, like, a clip where he's, like, these days... They got all kinds of shit in your coffee. You got the pink hazelnut flavored coffee. You got the vanilla flavored coffee. What if I want coffee flavored coffee? I'm coffee in here. Like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? Chat, does Chat know this guy? He's like that. He's like that dude.
And then I'll find out.
I just want coffee flavored coffee. All y'all motherfuckers running around here. You got piercings through your genitalia. You got fucking cock rings. What? You're like, he's just like, wait, who is this guy? Does anybody know? Jerry Seinfeld. No, but he's like he's not family friendly. Like Jerry Seinfeld, like I don't think uses like, I don't ever see Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld's definitely a boomer. He's like that, but he's like more like, you know, not family friendly. He's like a Boston guy.
What they like, because having 27 different words to describe your sexual attraction is way too much fucking work. All right, fuck that shit. Debate me on Tinder? Hey, if you're gonna put some political shit in your profile, you better believe I'm gonna fucking debate you. Okay? Why would you put?
You're gonna debate before the Bill Burr? No, it's like some other dude, blonde guy, blonde dude from Boston.
Some political shit in your profile if you don't want to fight, okay? Like, oh my god.
Somebody Google coffee flavored coffee. See if you can find what comic that is.
You're such a brave girl putting MAGA supporters swipe fucking left on your LA Tinder profile. Oh, queen, yes, queen. Oh, you're so fucking brave. Oh my god, you're so fucking brave. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay? Cringe. Thoughts on...
You know what's cringe is like exaggerating your reaction for fucking a fact.
An SDL
That's
trying
cringe.
to rework sexuality. I think that for the most part, I think like the feminine,
Dennis O'Leary,
masculine,
is that his name? Dennis O'Leary
dichotomy.
Oh, Dennis Leary
works okay, but just don't get too attached to your fucking like shit. And who the fuck cares? Who cares that much, right?
Destiny. The point is, it's not a dichotomy. It's not a binary. It's more complicated.
Like, masculine and feminine can have, like, a lot of cool things that you can do with in society, right? Maybe you like a certain style of clothing, maybe a certain attitude, or some shit like that. Sure, I can see the power of those. But, like, sexual orientation, who the fuck cares, right? I generally like cis women.
Like,
but you know what?
People,
I see a lot of really fucking hot trans women that I would probably fuck.
Oh,
hell yeah.
You.
Also,
That's
I've seen some
kind of
femboys that are like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Why the fuck not, you know? And I've been with guys, and I'm like, yeah, sure, you got a nice dick. Yeah, why the fuck not, right?
Wait.
Like, who the fuck cares? I don't feel the need to define my sexuality with like 37 different fucking terms.
Impact. I'm trying to mod your rote papier. I'm not sure. I don't know how to do this.
Like, I know what I like. Then yeah, you figure it out. Who cares? I don't know why. I don't know what the obsession is. It's like trying to say like, oh, like what kind of music are you like? Oh, I don't know. I like a lot of like prog and post rock. Prog and post rock? Are you talking about like psychedelic infusion, like transcendental, like EDM rock, or do you mean like are you talking about like the sub-heterogeneous genre of like electronic-based trans disco? Like I don't know what the fuck. I have no fucking idea. Like, are there really more than one group with this fucking label? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm booming.
Oh, wait, maybe I can fix it.
I'm getting too old for the internet. This is what's happening. I'm getting too old. It's passing me by.
There you go. I got it.
You're gonna have to find.
I figured it out.
You guys are gonna have to find a new political streamer, okay?
I mean,
so I'll leave it. It's.
Yeah. listen. Let me let you know something, okay? I know a lot of you came from this community, okay? I've looked at my analytics. I know a lot of you came from Dylan Burns' community. I know a lot of you came from Vaush's community. I know a lot of y'all are former DebateBro adjacent viewers, okay? But you're here now. You have come through the DebateBro to Catboy pipeline, okay? And I appreciate that. And you know, if you want to bring more people along for the ride, great. But like, please don't bring any of this fucking hateful garbage with you, because like, I think it just fucks up my community, right? I'm okay with, like, you know, ideological diversity. We don't like litmus tests by, you know, like, are you an anarchist or an ML, or, you know, like, we're not trying to like fucking, you know, like gatekeep people or anything like that. But like this fucking hateful shit where you're just like going off and punching hippies, like, I don't know. I think it just fucks up my community. I don't want that.
Leaving me in the dust. Okay? I'm getting left behind. I can't keep up with the kids these days, all right?
Okay. All right, got anything else? Any last memes, my dude? Oh god, there's like 10 more minutes. What is he going to say? Like, I feel like you've said everything. I sort of get the point. We'll continue.
Do you think there's some value in having words that quickly describe what you're attracted to and what you find sexually pleasing in a way to streamline that process in a more sexual society? No. Because, like, how should I say this without...
Every single person has a unique sexual attraction. It's just that no one has ever tried to categorize similarities until now, except homosexual and heterosexual. Yeah, I know. I mean, you kind of are booming.
Telling you to rape yourself. I think you should be open to like a wide variety of experiences, and I think most people are. Also, if you're the kind of person that is using like 50 million fucking tags, you probably are already the kind of person that's into like a wide variety of things. Like, if you're the kind of person that calls yourself like a pan, queer, whatever the fuck, blah, 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 you're probably down for most shit. In which case, like, I don't think you have to use all these insane levels of tags, right?
I mean, some of the tags are about what you're not into, so, you know, what do you mean?
The funny thing is that the people that need the tags the most are probably the ones that just use, like, heterosexual or, like, gay, right? I love the depression tags on Tinder. I haven't been on Tinder in a while. Is there a depression tag? Jesus. Like, what are the chances that you meet somebody who's like, I'm a genderqueer, non-binary, pansexual, like BDSM person or whatever, and you meet them and you're like, oh, like, yes. I'm like a female with a vagina, or like I'm a male with a vagina, and they're like, oh no, I'm not into that thing. Like, does that really happen? Because it seems like the people that use all the tags are into like a lot of different things anyways.
Is it just me, or is anybody else having trouble following exactly what Steven is complaining about? What is his problem? What is he complaining about? I don't really understand.
So, like, who the fuck cares? Just, like, meet people...
Okay, who the fuck cares, then? Like, let him go! Let me quote some Jink Huger here from back... Let him go! Let him go! Oh, God, chat. I promise I'll never do TYT shit again. It's pretty cringe.
Enjoy it. Who the fuck cares? Like, have fun. And if you don't like it, then don't do that again. Find somebody else. How do you usually start combos on Tinder? I say, hey, what's up? And you know what? If they don't respond, fuck them, all right? Because I'm not there to beg and grovel for a fucking Tinder pussy from some girl that is going to give me one message fucking responses while she's, like, juggling me between 30 other guys that she has talking to, okay, to boost her self-esteem. I ain't got time for that bullshit.
What?
All right? But...
What? You are so insecure, dude. How the hell are you so insecure?
I'm also a big streamer, and I talk to a lot of people, so it's probably not like the same situation.
Also, chat, if you notice, I'm kind of off the energy drinks. I've been pretty successful. I've switched over to green tea and coffee. I think I'm okay. I think that shit is I don't know. They're too expensive. I don't know. I mean, like, if they're good for you, I know that green tea is good for you. I know that coffee is good for you, right? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, old man yelling at cloud. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, what is this?
If you want to fuck people, okay? There's two ways to do it. One is real life friends, so either classmates or coworkers.
Thank you for
or two, or friends of friends, or two,
or friends of friends. Okay.
Is cast a wide net. So find a pickup line or a fucking joke and message like 50. If I do fuck somebody off of Tinder, it's because I've messaged like 50 people with the same fucking opener.
Wait a minute. Okay, so this might just be me, but lines are not efficient. They're not effective. Like, if it at all sounds like a line, it turns me off. If you want to have a real conversation with me, you got a much better chance. Lines, I'm not looking for them. Okay? The one time a guy's like tried to use a line on me before, it's just been like weird and gross, and like, I mean, I could tell he was uncomfortable. It was unnatural for him to say it. It was unnatural for me to hear it. It just kind of like, yeah, like, I mean, he lost his chance with that line, you know? He had a chance and he lost it with the line. That's what happened. Didn't help him, it hurt him.
And then like 3 or 4 will respond, and then you kind of weed them out, and then you go down that road. Like, that's all you can do, right? But if you like if you're trying to like find the one on Tinder and you get like super attached to like one match, you're fucked. That shit is never gonna work. All right. How do you do first dates? A first date for me will always be either like coffee, and by coffee I mean hot chocolate, or
oh hell yeah. Okay, this is the first base thing he said.
Like a meal is fine. I would never do a movie first date. I don't. Why though? I'm not gonna get to know a person on a movie. Fuck
yeah,
that.
That's true.
And movies are for cuddling. Okay, I'm not gonna cuddle with a weird fucking stranger. You might be.
It sounds a little dimmy to me. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Kex Maroon?
Fucking crazy.
Meow.
Right? I don't need Anna 2.0 in my life.
Meow. Wait, Anna. Oh shit. Okay, so that's Anna Voir, right? That's who Destiny's talking about. This is a drama that I have not followed, right? Anna went on Zerka recently, and I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on between Anna and Destiny. I don't get that. This was the Stardust Infrared Zerka drama, and I really don't know. I really don't know.
It feels like if you want to be successful, you have to be
Can anybody in chat, did anybody in chat follow the Anavar thing on Zerka?
Sexual predator. Okay, people spread this rumor so fucking much, okay? I have fucked so many girls just because they said they felt comfortable around me. I am not joking, all right? The idea that you have to be pushy and you've got to be like manipulative and you've got to go...
Sounds like a rabbit hole, yeah.
Over and over and over again. As soon as you give off those...
Listen, I cover drama when there's an issue of importance that's tangential to the drama. And what I try to do is bring back the issue and put it in front of the drama, right? Because the eyeballs are going to go here, and I want to put the issue right here. I want you to face this, okay? You're attracted to this. This is the candy. This is the broccoli. I put the broccoli in front of the candy. I get you to eat the broccoli because you need the broccoli.
Vibes, you will get the number one, like, I have to get the fuck out of here, this guy's gonna fucking rape me energy, okay? You do not want this guy is going to rape me energy because you're doing something you learned from some dipshit like John Zerka on fucking Twitch, okay? Like, just chat with somebody, be respectful, be chill, don't be a pushy fucking loser, okay? Also, if you take my advice on this, you will be so far ahead of every guy because every guy is a pushy fucking loser.
Yo, is that what Destiny's community is like right now? This guy that gets sex because he's a streamer, you know what I mean? Telling people that aren't big streamers how to get sex. Is that what's going on Destiny's stream these days?
I don't know.
Ghastly, is that pudding? What are you posting? Is that pudding? I can't tell. That, like, whatever it is, it looks... Oh, yeah, it is pudding. If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. Yes, the pudding.
Why, okay? I've hooked up with, like, 5 guys in my life, and every single guy tried to push me into doing fucking ass shit. After I explicitly said no. Not just one time, but throughout the entire fucking interaction, right? Like, unironically. Like, hey, I don't want to do any fucking... I'm not going to get fucking naked. I'm not doing any of this shit. And they're like, oh, okay. And, like, 2 minutes later, it's like, oh, take your pants off. Bro.
I mean...
I don't have fucking Alzheimer's, okay? I know you don't have Alzheimer's. Why are you acting like you just fucking forgot what I just told you? That shit every fucking time. Guys always do that shit. If you don't do that, okay? If you don't do that, you're already ahead of like 95% of other fucking dudes. Unironically, okay? You're already ahead of like 95% of other dudes by just not being a pushy, creepy fucking asshole, all right? It's like, it's memes, but like, I don't think, I'll bring girls over to my house. I don't give a fuck. I'll bring any girl over to my apartment. I don't care. I will never, ever, ever bring a guy back to my place. Ever. Not a single time. Because guys are fucking crazy and scary, all right? If there's a crazy girl, fuck it. You know, maybe she screams at me or tries to stab me in public. I don't know. But if there's a crazy guy that knows where you live, that's a whole other level of that's a whole other level of insanity. Also, I will say this, okay? Girls on Tinder, you are way too fucking trusting. Girls on Tinder are crazy. They will let you drive them around on the first fucking date. They will let you go back to their place on the first fucking date, okay? Y'all need to be careful with that shit. Holy fuck. It blows my mind. I'll be like, I'll message a girl or whatever. Like, sometimes I'll be polite. It's like, hey, do you need a ride? Like, oh yeah, come pick me up at this address. Why the fuck would you give me, why would you give me your address? Okay? I might have to kill you out of principle. In a video game.
That's really not funny. That's really not funny.
In a video game, okay? But like, Jesus.
Okay, I get that you don't mean it, but it's really not funny.
Jesus Christ. Be careful. It was one of the things that, like, I tweeted this a while ago, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. I guess, whatever. I don't give a fuck, because half the fucking people on the internet that talk about sex are virgins anyway, right? I tweeted a while ago that, like, if you're inviting a guy to your house, like, yeah, you better be comfortable with the idea of sex, because you're already doing something that's way more vulnerable than sex, which is inviting somebody to where you fucking live. It's like already, like, that's a way, way, way bigger step. And so many people disagreed with me. And I'm like, you motherfuckers are crazy. You just, like, you'll meet random guys online and bring them back to your apartment? And you're not even willing to fuck them? What the fuck? Yeah, fuck it. Crazy shit. Why is asexual even considered LGBTQ+? Were people who didn't want to fuck anyone even discriminated against? Again, I'm asking genuinely. That's like a whole thing.
Yeah, people talked about asexuality as if it's weird. Yeah, they are.
I don't know. I agree with you, but that's a bag of worms. I think that, like, LGBT
he
is
needs
special.
A can of worms, right?
Because if you are a lesbian, or you are gay, or if you are bisexual sometimes, or if you're transsexual or a trans person, your life...
John C., that's a really weird way of asking for mod.
Can be fucked. And there's, like, not much you can do about it. Like, if you're gay and you want to date somebody that's the same gender or sex as you...
Did I pronounce your name right, by the way?
You have to deal with a lot in your life.
I probably mispronounced your name.
Be hard.
Listen, John C., I'm just no good at pronouncing names. I can pronounce other things. I can't pronounce names for some reason. So sorry about that. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm really sorry.
Same thing as transgender. Same thing as lesbian. Sometimes
it is Jouncy? Okay.
Bisexual. Those bisexual you can hide though. I think there are other types of sexualities that can be legitimate, but they don't deal with the same social stigma. So, like, for instance, like, I'm bisexual or pansexual or whatever. I don't care, but if I did care, it's not like I would have to be stigmatized by my family for it, because I date girls. I can bring a girl home and be like, oh, look, I'm straight, haha, like, I'm straight passing or whatever.
I need to give them my tax information. They took away my super chat button because I didn't give them enough information, so...
I don't really have to, like, live my life in fear.
But, Jouncy, that's a good point. Hey, if you want to give money to me, if you want to... Because my streams don't get monetized, I talk about a lot of controversial topics, and I use a lot of F words, and that tends to, like, lend itself towards not getting monetized. If you want to help me out with that, you can click on that link tree, and you can donate to me on PayPal. That's probably the best way to do it. If you don't like that, you could donate on Streamlabs. If you don't like that, you can become a Patreon, and we are in the process of getting more Patreon-only content. I just have to figure out how to do that. Right now, my Patreon-only content is like links to unlisted stuff on my channel, and I want to give you stuff that is like legit exclusive, like that other people are not getting. So we're looking into that, and there will be more benefits for being a Patreon. So yeah.
Or shame like a gay person might, or like a trans person might. So I think it's a little bit weird when people are like, oh, like we need to include like sapiosexual, demisexual, asexual. Now, not to say that if you don't have one of these types of asexuality, like your life can be strange in other ways, but like I don't think it's the same type of thing, you know, like, hey, I'm gonna be in a relationship with you, but like I don't want to have very much sex. Like, okay, sure, but like, is this like a huge constant thing in life that you're gonna have to deal with? Because I don't know.
Oh, it's in the link tree. So link tree is basically, if you click on that, you'll get all of my links. You'll have many options, including where you'll see the Twitch link. It's just got everything's on the link tree, right? But yeah.
There's also like this weird. There's also this weird idea that like men are the ones that always push for sex and don't have like enough sex. I don't even know. We'd have to like a point on that sometime, because I don't even know if that is the case, because it feels like in long-term relationships, women are the ones that end up feeling unsexually satisfied, where they want to have more sex than the guys do even. So, I mean, I'm sure if you're asexual, you can probably find some other partner that's like, oh yeah, I don't care about fucking that much, or I just want to jerk off all the time, you know? I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, that was great. That was great. I'm so glad I watched this, and yay. Okay, so we've done Xanderhal. We've done Steven. Let's see what Vaush has to say about Contra. Let's see what Vaush has to say about Contrapoints gets canceled. Vaush, you should know that Contra doesn't get canceled. You don't get canceled. This is stolen valor. This is stolen valor. You are trying to act like some shit that can happen to smaller streamers can happen to you, and it fucking can't. Ooh, why are you quiet, Vaush? There you are.
So she tweeted this out and then deleted it.
Chat, it's Vaush. Vaush. We got Vaush. Okay, now can we like analyze this? Sometimes I like to analyze thumbnails. Today I want to analyze intros. So like, look at this. It goes in. He's sucking his head into the TV, and then it gets shot out. It gets yeeted. His head gets shot out like a cannonball. Okay. And what's left is it says Vaush.
All right, the cancellation has taken place.
Vaush.
Contra again. Let's talk about it, okay? So she tweeted this out and then deleted it because she's a coward, but we'll forgive her for that. Gen Z queer people are hard to figure out. They're like, I'm an asexual slut who loves sex. You don't have to be trans to be trans. Casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid. Now, to be clear, this is very funny, and every word is truer than the word that came before it. And if you read this as a self-deprecating in-queer community joke, there's nothing wrong with this. It's objectively perfect. It should stand in the Louvre. It's flawless.
Louvre.
Okay? Now, it's impossible to know how much real sentiment is couched in this tweet, or at least it would be if Natalie hadn't released a giant Notes app text follow-up to explain. But leaving that aside, let's death of the author for a second, and just look at this.
Oh, sorry, it's not loud enough. There you go.
She's so bad at Twitter.
Yeah. Is she?
We'll talk about that too.
I mean, I feel like she did this on purpose, and like, you know, it gets like controversy, and then her follow-up gets more attention. Whatever kind of things she's trying to inject into the discourse gets injected harder. I don't really see how she's losing here. And that's why it's like hard to believe this shit about, like, you know, it's...
So anyway, some people have said this tweet is problematic, and God, what isn't these days? Well, I looked at the criticisms, and I think I understand where they're coming from. A lot of what I'm about to say is covered in Natalie's follow-up tweet, so we'll look at those two. But for now, let's just like get a vibe, okay?
Hey, chat, do you see? Okay, like, oh god, behind Vaush, there's a neon sign for, it looks like ramen. Did he get that from like a? Where does he lives in? Like he lives in it's Seattle, right? I don't know, something looks familiar about that, and I'm wondering if he got it from like an actual restaurant or something.
So first of all, the vibes on
this... If you don't know, chat, I did part of my undergrad in Seattle, so...
tweet are on point, okay?
I know a little bit about the city.
Gen Z queer people are hard to figure out. That's an objective fact, okay? Have you talked to Gen Z queer people? Have you seen them on Twitter? This is an inarguable... This is ontologically correct, okay? Somewhere in the universe's code, you can find this information. This tweet exists. So anyway...
Oh, interesting. So this is funny because I got on this tip. This is not a stream video. This is not prepared content, chat. This is a hybrid video. And you can see by the way that there's the stream stuff and then there's post-production on top of it. It's the new meta. And it's funny because Vaush, like a long time ago, talked about how he got a hold of a YouTube Svengali, like some expert on YouTube that was going to help him get more views. And if this is what they told you, Vaush, you could have hired me.
Let's go over this point.
I mean, not that I would want to work with you these days, but...
Point, okay?
Back then, you could have hired me.
First, I'm an asexual slut who loves sex. Now, keep in mind that Natalie is only saying that these are hard-to-figure-out statements. And the statement, I'm an asexual slut who loves sex, is hard to figure out, right? I mean, that sounds contradictory. It's actually not. And I want to explain really quickly why it's not, okay? A lot of people don't understand asexuality that well, and that probably includes me, but there are a few things that I do know, and I just want to be clear about what they are in case anyone wants to know why people were getting tripped up over that. And it's that
Vaush is,
asexuality...
losing a lot of weight. From what I understand, he has like a in-home gym. Oh, at least that's what he attributes it to, right?
Doesn't mean you don't like sex. Asexuality...
Vaush is like Destiny Light? I don't know. In some ways? I don't know. Yeah, it depends on what you mean by Destiny Light. Yeah. There we go. That looks comfortable.
Sexuality is a spectrum which describes the degree...
He's dieting too, yeah.
...of sexual attraction that you experience.
He was supposed to be a left-wing version of Destiny. Well, Destiny, like if you go back far enough, okay, you'll see that Destiny debated a bunch of alt-right people when that was happening, and got a lot of credit for that. And then started doing content with Hassan Piker. They were buds for a while, and I don't remember what it was that caused them to burn their bridge, right? But yeah. Destiny took a hard turn away from Hassan, and ever since then, he's been kind of punching left, right? So he punched right for a long time, and then he broke up with Hassan, and he started punching left.
So, it's saying, like, you can't be an asexual slut is like saying you're short, then
it might be a Saga reference? Wait, what is a Saga reference? The noodles is a Saga reference? Mostly asexual, and people assume I was gay. They don't really care about what I really am. Vaush trad. Quiet was better? Wait, did I make it too loud?
How can you reach the groceries on top of the fridge? If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It would be like, you're short, but you don't braid your beard and have a giant runic axe that you carry around while screaming in a Scottish accent. You're tying a lot of stuff together into sort of hyperbolizing what's a spectrum. And it's
I've come to the conclusion that Vaush is not really left. You might be right.
True that dwarves, you fools, dwarves.
Oh, could be a Saga reference. Wait, Saga? I thought it was a, what is that thing called, chat? What is the thing? It's like, The Pillows did the soundtrack. It's like an old-ass anime. Okay, The Pillows did the soundtrack. There's like 4 episodes to it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Because dwarves are short.
It's the chick, the wasp lady, the Vespa chick, that's an alien.
Like saying that all asexual people...
Fully Cully.
don't like sex is like saying all short people are like Lord of the Rings dwarves. You know what I mean? Like, it's true.
Dwarves.
True that Lord of the Rings dwarves are short, as I understand it, but you're folding it all into the extreme of the spectrum. It describes sexual attraction. So, sexual attraction and sexual pleasure aren't actually the same things, you know? You can have sex for reasons other than sexual attraction, right? I mean, hasn't that happened before? Guys, have you never fucked...
I don't know. It's not connecting with me.
Somebody you weren't actually attracted to because...
It's not connecting with me, Rose Papier.
You wanted to get off. Have none of you ever had that experience?
Oh, yes, okay.
Come on. I'm sure at least some of you have. And, again, as Natalie...
Isn't it like the people that did Evangelion did Folliculi?
...points out in the follow-up tweet that we'll look at, there are, like, straight people who will have gay sex in prisons to get off.
Wait, she wasn't talking about prison.
And there are also gay people who will have straight sex to get off because they don't know any gay people around them. Vaush, this shit is stupid and cringe. I'm not describing a super complicated thing right now, okay? What I'm describing is not incredibly complicated.
Wait, what are they saying is stupid and cringe?
But follow through with me here, okay? Sexual attraction is a really big part of sex for me, and I think I think the term is allosexual, which means not asexual. It's like the cisgender to being transgender, you know? But it's a really big spectrum, right? I mean, it could encompass a wide... Yeah, allosexual. It can encompass, like, a wide range...
Allosexual. That sounds kind of... moisturizing.
...of shit. Now, again, to be clear, none of what I'm saying right now makes this tweet less funny, okay? Just to clear it up, technically, I'm an asexual slut who loves sex is not actually oxymoronic. It's hard to figure out because it seems oxymoronic, but it's not oxymoronic. Do you understand? It comes off, you know, it's counterintuitive, but it's not inherently contradictory. Yeah, Vermin has this fucking chart, and if you want to go to Vermin's Twitter and look at the chart, you can, but my eyes blur over the moment I see any type of diagram explaining human sexual behavior. Sexual attraction, libido, sex favorability, sex positive.
Well, that's cool.
I think it's all great.
That's really
you can tell from the colors, okay?
Wait, is Vaush gonna have like the most base take of all these creators?
You get what I'm talking about. Anyway, just to be clear, that statement, counterintuitive, not contradictory. Anyway, you don't have to be trans. So, to me, this is like really...
Yeah, not bad so far.
Clearly just a joke. I mean, this is tautologically incorrect. By definition, you have to be trans, right? You know? You have kind of seen people talk like that before, right? Like on social media? I've seen people talk like that a little bit. I've been on Twitter, and I've seen people say stuff, you know, like, you don't have to be trans. Yeah, okay, we've seen that. Look, none of this is a super...
Have we? I mean... To me, you don't have to be trans. Like, it sounded like what she's referring to is, like... Yeah, I don't know. That kind of bugs me because it feels like the way that people invalidate non-binary people or people that, you know, especially non-binary people who don't seek, like, some sort of medical intervention. It's honestly sounded a little bit transmed. I'm not saying that Contra is transmed. I don't think that Contra is transmed. But guess what, chat? Melissa does. And that's a problem. If Melissa likes your take, chat... If Melissa Flower Dreams likes your take and approves of your take, it's not maybe transmed. You know, you're not transmed, but what it is it's vulnerable to a transmedicalist interpretation. And if you're against that, then you should try to kind of avoid that as much as you can. You want Melissa Flower Dreams to hate you. If Melissa Flower Dreams hates you as much as she hates me, then you know you're pretty based in terms of takes on trans stuff, right?
Big deal. It's deliberately confusing.
And yes, chat, I'm talking about a troll from the comments that we don't know who who is behind the Melissa Flower Dreams account, but they are very, very obsessed with me. So,
Western society will survive. Whatever. And casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid. The funny thing is that this is actually true because gayness is like a culture.
No, I mean, like, the thing is, like, that's something that somebody that was trying to invalidate people who don't seek, like, medical intervention would say, would characterize that take, you know. In other words, you don't have to get, you know, surgery or be on hormones or, you know, necessarily, like, right? Because, like, here's the thing. Trans women don't owe you your interpretation of femininity, okay? If a trans woman gives you something that you don't take as being feminine, that's your problem. That's not their problem. If a trans man doesn't give you something that you take as masculinity, that's your problem, not their problem. If a non-binary person does not perform non-binariness according to your, you know, understanding, your stereotypes, your preconception of non-binary, that's, once again, your problem. So, yeah, that's why it's problematic. It lends itself to that interpretation. I don't think that's what Natalie was trying to say, but I do try to make sure that my takes are Melissa Flower Dreams proof, right?
Cruel thing now, isn't it?
Because I don't want any of my my friends thinking that, like, I'm with her. I don't want any of my friends thinking that I'm trying to invalidate them, right? I don't want takes that are Blanchardable. Blanchard being the theorist that we were talking about before, the transphobic theorist that divides trans women up into AGP and HSTS, right? I don't want my takes to be vulnerable to that. Just like Vaush wouldn't want his takes to be vulnerable to class reductionism or Nazbol's like Haas, right?
You guys not
or at least he used to feel that way.
Straight,
not sure how he feels these days.
Gay people and gay straight people.
Non-binary people don't consider them trans. Even some non-binary people don't consider themselves trans, even though they transition. That's true, but, like, we want to keep the umbrella open for those who do.
People often talk about gayness in a way that doesn't actually describe their sexual attraction. And okay, guys, let me put it this way. How many times have you heard "that's so gay" used to describe something other than the explicit sexual attraction of two same-gender people?
All the time.
Yeah, it's a boomer take, right? Gay used to be used, and it still is by some shitheads, to mean cringe, to mean dumb, to mean, I don't want to use I'm trying to get away from ableist terms, but yeah, lame would have been used in a very similar way at the time, right? And is that not what Vaush is talking about when things are used, when that's so gay? Or does he mean that's so gay as in the positive sense?
Constantly.
Most of my friends are trans or gay or some flavor of both. And the terms, "oh my god, that's so gay of them," 99.9% of the
Okay,
time
so you mean in the positive sense.
are not used to describe a person's sexual attraction. They're used to describe a person's affect. Elements of queer culture have gone beyond literal sexuality and are now...
Yeah, but that's somewhat decoupled, right? So, for instance, for men, talking with a lisp used to be considered gay, right? That was part of gay culture. Going back, historically, that was sometimes how gay men would identify each other. It's a code. It's almost a dog whistle, right? That, like, the idea was that other gay men would pick up on that and know what that means, and that maybe straight people wouldn't. Now, obviously, straight people caught on to that, and talking with a lisp could probably get you beat up, going back to the 80s and 90s. But it's probably started out as kind of a code. There was a code. There was a way of identifying each other, because they don't want to end up propositioning a guy that turns out to be straight and homophobic and wants to hurt them because of that, right? So there were codes that existed. I probably for lesbians too. I haven't seen as much of the documentations of that. I haven't really I don't know what that looks like, I guess, historically, right? But it hasn't been portrayed in movies as much, at least in like queer cinema that I've seen. But
broad collection of traits and affects and stuff like that.
The ageism. Oh, okay. So I didn't even. You're right. Actually, I'm ignoring that too. Yeah, there may be a certain degree of ageism in Contra's tweet. Because like a lot of boomers or not boomers. I mean, she didn't mean literal boomers. She meant like, non-Zoomers. A lot of non-Zoomers get this. A lot of non-Zoomers do understand this. It's not necessarily something that is like, one-to-one correspondence with age, just like some of those affectations that Vaush is talking about, some of those cultural things that Vaush is talking about, don't correspond one-to-one with all gay people. There's plenty of gay people that, like, quote-unquote straight acting. I guess that there's probably not something, yeah. Again, this is like antiquated, but...
are in a way more cultural than anything. You can feel this when you go around like a city, right? Okay, guys. Go to a college campus and then go to a rural community right off a highway. Now, find two heterosexual people.
I mean, there's overlap there. Like, I went to a college that was a college town right off the highway in a rural area. Yeah, so.
From both of them. Which one's gayer? Come on. It's the city one. 99 out of 100 times it's the city one. Come on. You know what I mean. There are plenty of people in the queer community who use queerness and gayness sort of offhandedly as ways of describing cultural relations more so than they do actual sexuality. Also, people who are bi/pan and in relationships that are het-passing get their gayness doubted, so yes, that phrase could be helpful to someone. Yeah. Again, I want to be clear, by the way. Nothing that I'm saying right now, Vaush, so it's like metrosexual? No, it's like...
Okay. Speaking of antiquated terms...
Okay, you can be a straight guy who wears nothing but, like, a polo shirt and board shorts, right? Or you can be a straight guy who wears, like, foofy knitted sweaters and cat ear headphones. Now, the latter is more gay than the former, even if both of them are exactly the same level of heterosexual. Do you understand what I mean? So a femboy? No, it's an affinity for queer culture. It's a comfort with queer culture. So when oftentimes people will say like, oh, this straight person's gay, they're not actually gay. It's that they're comfortable with the coding and the fashion and the...
There was some hot 5 minutes when metrosexual was an actual thing, yeah.
The expression of the queer community. Do you guys not understand what I mean when I say that queerness is a culture? Because, like, if you go to any queer community, the fashion you're looking at, the music you're hearing, the language they're speaking, that's not their sexuality. That's a culture. A sexuality isn't expressed through your clothing or anything else. It's a pure, raw distillation of who you prefer sexually. So everything else that you see, all the affects that are associated with the queer community, that's a culture.
Yeah.
And you can be straight and be a part of that culture. Anyway, I don't even know if that's...
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying about, like, it being decoupled, right? That, like, not all queer people have what Vaush just described as queer culture. I mean, there's a little bit of a question even, like, whether, do you want to really call it queer culture then? But, like, I mean, we do. Like, people, when you say queer culture, people kind of get what you're talking about, and it makes, sense for now, so... But, yeah, it's decoupled. I agree.
Contra meant when she was talking about this. I'm only pointing it out because life is wonderful and complicated, and you're all beautiful people, okay? So anyway, this tweet was extremely based in red-pilled. Isn't this what metrosexuality means, though? Metrosexuality is kind of an outdated term, but it mostly means a guy who, like, washes his asshole when he goes in the shower or whatever. I don't know. He preens. The metro...
Please don't tell me that that's a rarity. That's not, chat, that's not, like, a rare... thing, right?
Metrosexual. So all of you should be metrosexuals in that respect, I hope.
Well, yeah, definitely, Vaush, it's...
Anyway. So Contra did delete that, much to, the shame of the world. It is gone now.
Shame of the world,
and
oh
then,
my god.
Following the criticism, Contra put this out. All right.
You're gonna vomit, bro? You're gonna vomit?
Oh God, so look, last night, it's true, I admit it, I confess it all, I started discourse. Yeah. We'll read her perspective. Anyway, she actually starts responding to it from the second paragraph. The discourse is about Gen Z queer people online saying things like, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, and blah blah blah. Note, I'm not saying these things aren't valid, and that's true, she didn't say that. I've never been big on deciding what is valid. If you're a horny asexual who loves to fuck, by all means continue with my maternal blessing. But surely you must see that to most people, the statement, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, is at face value confusing, contradictory, and in so many words, hard to figure out. Sometimes I get the sense that people like... Now, I think this next part is super true, by the way. Sometimes I get the sense that people say these things in order, in part, because they enjoy the provocation of the seeming contradiction. And you guys know that's true. You know that's...
Vaush, don't tell me that you don't enjoy the provocation of a fuckload of things. This is Mr. Takemeister here. This is the origin... I don't know if he's the originator of the Takemeister, but he's a pretty early adopter of the Takemeister format, right? And like, you know, like you can't like get at somebody for like enjoying provocation when you yourself do the same thing on just completely different issues.
True. You know you see these queer people who will come up with ways of describing themselves that are deliberately contrary sounding because they enjoy confusing people. That's 100.
I mean, you may be noticing like gender accelerationism, for which, I mean, Vaush is a gender abolitionist, right? So, I mean, if you're a gender abolitionist, like, gender accelerationism is a pretty viable strategy to get to where you say that you want to go.
100% true. And that makes Contra's tweet hard to figure out, all the more valid, I think, but anyway. But maybe I'm wrong. Just to be safe, I'm going to use my platform to explore why these seemingly contradictory statements might, in fact, make sense. How nice. And then Natalie goes on to, I guess, say a lot of what I've said here. One thing I see a lot of people saying is that asexuality means lack of sexual attraction rather than no libido.
So Contra gave a tweet that was short and quippy, but it's very exploitable by the Melissa Flower dreams of the world, and then she took the tweet down when people freaked out, and she put up this, which, you know, is an explanation for those things. Maybe because she wanted to, you know, reach out and like, you know, because like I think what her complaint was that maybe our language isn't accessible to older people or people who miss the boat on this stuff, that it's gatekeepy, that it's opaque, and that like her contradiction maybe draws in those eyes of people that are like, yeah, Contra's right. And then she takes down the tweet and they're like, why did you take down the tweet? And then she puts up this, and maybe they read it and they say, oh, I never thought of it like that before, right? I don't know. There's it seems like something's a little bit more complicated as at work here, but it's some form of a Takemeister.
Meaning that asexual people
it's some form of a Takemeister,
even absent any specific object-oriented attraction. If that seems counterintuitive, consider that people often have sex for a reason other than sexual attraction. To feel attractive, that's a big one. To sustain a marriage, for money, etc., and that sex may still be enjoyable. Now, the only thing that I don't think that I like about this is that it sort of leaves out the possibility that a person could have
okay, so gender accelerationism is a strategy for achieving gender abolition. So gender abolition would be a state in which, you know, people's identification is more personal, it's more nuanced, it's more individualized, right? And it's not stuck in these concepts, these definitely not stuck in the binary, and maybe not even stuck in, you know, a ever increasing number of tags. It's personal. It's my gender is my gender, and we can, you know, kind of recognize that as being unique, right? That my gender expression is probably, you know, if we're going to talk about it at a micro level, there's no, I don't have like somebody that I can say, yes, your gender expression exactly the same as mine, right? You know, my gender expression is going to be different than Melissa Flower Dream's gender expression, right? Even if they're similar. But it's the strategy, the idea is this, okay? And I talked about this earlier. When I went to the store today, somebody's bagging up my groceries, and she said, "Here you go, ma'am." And I thought about that, like, why did my gender come into that interaction? Why did my gender need to be referenced? It didn't, right? I considered myself, I identify as female, so I don't have a problem with being called ma'am or anything like that. I mean, I don't know, maybe you feel a little old maybe, but like not really, it's an honorific, or is it an honorific? It's an honorific, yeah, honorific is the right word. So, but like I was kind of like, that's random. Like, I'm getting groceries. It doesn't fucking matter what I identify as. And it's a little bit absurd that has to be referenced. That is the honorific. That is the title. That is what gets referred to all the fucking time. Like, why don't we live in a world where that's only brought up where it matters? And that would be, a world where sorry, I should make a distinction between gender abolition and gender liberation. Gender abolition, depending on how it's codified, it can sort of be maybe a little bit judgmental towards people who do want, for now or for whenever, they do want a definition, right? So the idea of gender liberation is like, all right, how about this? You don't have to identify as any of these tags. You can be, unique, or if you like the tags, keep using the tags. Liberation, you're free. We're setting you free. But we can't get there. We can't just automatically get there. What we have to do is liberate the mind first. This is the thing about, like, I guess you could say gender consciousness, right? And by creating a million different genders that people like Vaush come around and say, that's absurd. Starwolf gender, what is that, right? We make people question gender by identifying as a non-standard gender, not one of the binaries, like, and not just, just vanilla, non-binary, which, may or may not exist, right? You've got the option to be a little bit more personal than that. And when somebody's talking about that, and it begs the question of, what do you mean by that? So somebody comes up and asks, what do you mean by your gender? And, mine's pretty boring, pretty, vanilla. I don't have like a more nuanced gender expression really that I can relate to people. But for somebody who does, talking to somebody who doesn't, somebody who's like, in the binary or whatever, it might actually kind of like make them realize that they have more options open than what they think. And so that opens up a mental space, an intersubjective space, if you will, for greater expression, for greater precision, for describing in more detail our subjective experience. And I think that's based. I think that's a lot of what we're here on this, planet for, is to share our subjective experience, to share our inner worlds with each other. And we can never completely relate those, but we can do more than what we're doing. A lot of the gender authoritarianism that exists right now prevents that expression, and gender accelerationism and gender liberation, that being the goal, are ways to open up that space. So that's really what we're looking at. Besides the queer discourse here, young people language is often meant to be inaccessible to older generations. Might be the case here to unrelated... Oh, okay. Younger generations need to distinguish themselves from the older ones, yeah.
Like, not have sexual attraction, but enjoy sex.
Even if some people... Oh my god, let me, read the rest of chat here. Even if some people in the discourse are not explicitly invalidating those identities, the discourse will put those identities under the microscope. For Contra and friends, this is just discourse, but for some people, this is their identity. Yeah. Maybe I don't think that some people just want to make other people think about these things more deeply. Yeah. I see. I see. So it's like breaking up the binary into pieces so that eventually it won't be needed. Yeah. And if your reaction to this is that it's a little bit absurd, then I ask you to take a look at the binary and ask yourself if that's not equally absurd. Because that's the point. That's the whole point. We make up these names for self-identities in order to reflect back at the absurdity, the arbitrariness, and the made-upness of the gender binary.
Without it feeling like a contractual thing, you know what I mean? Like a transactional sort of thing. There are ways to want to have sex with a person that aren't sexual attraction, that aren't like really transactional. Like, for example, romantic attraction. There are people who like having sex with people not because they feel sexually attracted necessarily, but because they feel romantically attracted to.
I mean, I feel if Xanderhal, Destiny, and Vaush understands this stuff the best. I still don't know why. He's like reflexively standing contra, but I don't know, chat. I don't know. The only problem I would have with Contra's take is that when she gives it in the first form, it's exploitable. Melissa reads that and Melissa's like, oh, yes, one of us, Contra, one of us. And Contra's not one of you. Contra's not a transmed. And she just tends to not be able to differentiate herself from the Melissa Flower Dreams of the world. Yeah?
A person. And sex is a way.
See, troll my channel and become an object lesson, okay? This is a warning for you future trolls out there, right? Troll my channel, with something. I might make you part of the discourse if you're useful in that way, and Melissa's incredibly useful in that way.
Of expressing that romance, or at the very least could be a way of,
in a lot of ways, chat, Melissa is my Vanessa.
Enjoying
and that's a
component
contra
of the
meme.
romance. I know there are people like that. Now again, I want to be clear. All of you are dumb, okay? All humans should see big bouncing boobies and just go like, oh my god, yes. Obviously, anything that isn't that is so far off the mark. But you're all valid in your wrong perspectives. Sometimes straight people have gay sex to get off, blah, blah, blah. The gay heterosexuals, gay describes a sexual orientation, but it also describes a community and a culture. Yeah, we still got this, blah, blah, blah. I suspect, for example, the community would be irritated at me if I identified both as a lesbian woman and a heterosexual transvestite. But I guess I should have thought of that before becoming an autogynephilic menace to society. Very true. We stand an inconsistent queer community sometimes. God, I'm depressed watching in horror as I type this out. Where's my jewel? Okay, that's enough. Thank you, Natalie. If there's any lesson to be taken,
where's my
from
jewel?
This,
Oh my god,
really
Natalie. Oh my god, Natalie.
Her decisions
oh my
and not be
god.
on Twitter, because she followed up with some spicy tweets.
Spicy.
After that big one.
Spicy.
I want to be alone, which is always a very composed thing to tweet out.
Is that Marlena Dietrich? Is that Marlena?
As an enormous public figure. And then the even more composed thing to tweet out, I'm detransitioning, I'm gonna head out, which she has already deleted. And that was just an hour before right now. So I'm sure she's doing wonderfully, and I hope she's enjoying whatever
Blanchard is memeing Monka us.
Her cocktail of illicit substances she's imbibed. Honestly,
I mean,
while I do think, as always, people go way too hard on Natalie, I feel like she needs to chill out.
What? Yes, Vaush is this is the most base take so far. Yeah, I agree.
Cancellation really wasn't that bad.
It's not. She makes money off of every cancellation, right?
I don't know. I feel like
just like Vaush does.
A lot of this is
he does it on purpose.
Sort of.
And he's like, I got canceled. Oh my god, I freaking got canceled.
It's not
the goddamn SJWs. The goddamn SJWs. They waved their magic wand around me, and I got canceled. Help me! Help me! And he's fucking making money. He's fucking making it rain while he's doing that. There's no cancellation. This is all stolen valor.
Yeah, I imagine it's not like
DebateBros and their stolen fucking valor.
She just she sees the people getting mad at her over this thing, and she just gets reminded of it's like the PTSD of being canceled or whatever, which sounds like a joke, but I've been canceled enough times to know that.
Bitch, you haven't been shit, okay? You have not been canceled. Vaush. You haven't been canceled. You don't give a fuck about cancel culture. When I got canceled by your friend Dylan, you didn't give a fuck. You knew exactly what was happening, and you were okay with it, because you're okay with cancel culture. You've canceled a million fucking people. Anytime somebody has a take that's inconvenient for your narrative, you fucking cancel them. Like Professor Flowers. Shut the fuck up. Quit bitching about cancel culture, you motherfucking cancel culture cop.
There are at
I'm
times,
sorry, he makes me a little bit like, I don't hate the dude, but he makes this kind of pisses me off.
You see like the cancellation building, and I'd like to think I have a pretty thick skin, so maybe our experiences would be different in this respect. But there's definitely like a feeling, right? You know what I mean? Like when you feel the cancellation building, or you know for
like maybe really early on you might have experienced some cancel culture, but past a certain size it just gets monetized, right?
For example, that
I mean, listen, there is like an emotional aspect to it. There's a social aspect. The worst part of cancellation at Vaush's size is that there might be friends of his that he loses because of this, right? There might be people that you know think things about him maybe that aren't entirely true. There might be people that take that one moment out of his career and just like they stereotype him based on that, like, right? So there is like some emotional cancellation, but as far as the financial cancellation, as far as actually putting you in danger, Vaush, that happened to me, and you didn't give a fuck, because it was your friend Dylan, and it wasn't convenient for you. Vaush does what's convenient for him. He doesn't care about cancellation. He doesn't have principles. He doesn't have overarching anything. He's just like a fucking opportunist fuck, okay? I'm sorry.
like, oh, okay, all right, you know. I'm sure you understand what I mean. There's always...
All this discourse was I have to try and imagine what AGP for attack helicopters would look like. I guess I should go to bed soon. Oh my god.
There's always something.
Yeah, good night, Impact.
Anyway, hope she's doing okay, but she really shouldn't be making any even remotely controversial statements on social media if this is how she responds to them. In a way, it almost feels like she baited that. In fact,
it does.
I could be wrong here, but it wouldn't surprise me if Natalie was feeling upset when she initially tweeted out the banger, the one that she first deleted.
The banger.
And she was...
I don't know how much of a banger it was.
In a way, sort of... how do I put this? It's... You know when you feel a general sense of animosity, and you feel it building inside of you, and you just want to materialize it by...
Here's my take. I think that Contrapoints feels very alone. It's lonely at the top, okay? It's hard to relate to people because most of the people relating to you who know that you're Contrapoints, they're relating to Contrapoints, and Contrapoints isn't Contrapoints. Contrapoints is Natalie. And so it's really weird for Natalie to have all these people trying to talk to Contrapoints, and it's like, hello, Natalie here. Do you care? What am I, chopped liver? Yeah, that's what that is.
Engaging in some negative behavior with another person. You know what I mean? Like, you can be in a bad mood, and then someone who's done nothing wrong can be around you, and they can be like, can you pass me the thing? And you're like, well, you get it yourself! And they did nothing wrong. I feel like, in a way, Natalie might be doing the Twitter equivalent of that, where there was some underlying antagonism that she manifests through baiting out cancellation. Maybe not like super consciously, but I gotta wonder what she was thinking with the first tweet. It's funny, but like, she's not dumb. Far from it. She had to know what the response would be. It wasn't even that negative. What was it, 300 quote tweets to 7,000 likes? I guess that's a little bit. I mean, it's hardly a ratio. But that might also explain why she reacted the way she did.
I love the supposition that all the quote tweets are negative and all the likes are like legitimate likes. Do you know, chat, that some people like tweets in order to be able to find them again? There's some people that like their likes don't represent likes. Their likes represent Twitter being hard to see. You can't bookmark a tweet, right? Am I right, chat? There's no like bookmark function, so a lot of people use likes for the bookmark. So I don't know.
It afterwards.
I mean, you assume that most of the quote tweets maybe... I don't even know that. Chat, most of my quote tweets are not negative. I very rarely, and only usually when Samantha Banana's involved, do a quote tweet that's negative, right?
So I don't really know.
And it wasn't
Whatever
that negative. I was just offering Samantha Banana free sparring lessons, but they are not free anymore. They will cost her $200 at this point if she wants to. $200, and Samantha, I want to see you dye your hair blue. $200. Come on, Samantha, give me some of that Lauren Southern money, okay? Make it rain, bitch. Make it rain.
I hope she's doing well.
And I will make it rain all over you.
Only person here who's getting hurt is Natalie, so...
There should be a favorite button, yeah.
You know, as always, I think the victim here is you know, her. Do you think people are going too hard on Zoomers? I don't care. Natalie just made a little joke tweet. It's fine to make fun of the kids. This wasn't like a full-on reactionary thing, not even close. Especially since the explicit text...
And I would know, because I'm Vaush. Just kidding. I would know, because Vaush trad.
The tweet were, you know, was totally correct. Hard to understand. I mean, true, yeah, they do it on purpose. They love dancing on terminology. Anyway, Godspeed to her. I believe in her.
Okay, well, great. Alright, so somebody said that I should check out Rose Wrist's take. I wasn't planning on doing it, but, you know, I've seen Rose Wrist give base takes in the past. We'd like one, like, really base take maybe to end this on. So let's take a look at what our friend Rose Wrist is up to in this discourse. I think that Rose responded to this, right? Here we go. Twitter does it again. Contrapoints canceled. Really, though? Really?
You will never believe it, but Contrapoints, Natalie Wynn, has been canceled once again.
Holy shit, my dude!
Now, it's far from the first time, but, you know, it's the most recent time. Now I do...
Also, Rose, I would love to see what you mean by canceled. Also, Rose, I would love to see... How do you... Oh, okay, that's Restream. Oh, I see what Rose is doing. That's interesting, huh? I wonder if I could get that to work.
You know, politics streaming and stuff. So I'm going to talk about it because I actually somewhat kept up with this, which is challenging because as a rule of thumb, I try to spend as little time as possible on Twitter. So this is Twitter drama, but I try my very best to be involved. Now, Contrapoints is probably my favorite YouTuber. Base as fuck, just all around, very cool stuff generally. But yeah, now we have this cancellation that we're about to go through. And where does it start? It starts with a deleted tweet, okay? And this tweet goes as follows. Bang. Gen Z queer people are hard to figure out. They're like, I'm an asexual slut who loves sex. You don't have to be trans. Casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid. Now, if you look at this, bang, on its face. Yeah, makes sense. It is a bit confusing. These words seem contradictory on their face, but Natalie got a whole bunch of criticism for this, and quote tweets and comments and all the rest of it. So she took down this tweet and she made a follow-up, which I'm going to read out as well, because I think this is a pretty good follow-up. So I'm going to read Natalie's follow-up on this, and I'm going to give my argument concerning this specific issue. Here she did her essay assignment. As she says, the follow-up essay assignment is the penalty for tweeting. Let this be a warning. And we're going to go read through this because it's important to get all the context, okay? So, oh God. So look, last night, it's true. I admit it. I confess it all. I started discourse. I wasn't trying to, but that's relevant now. It's too late to go back. And now, as the discourse starter, I'm feeling pangs of responsibility to at least try to leave things better than I found them. This isn't me defending myself, because first, who gives fucking shit? Second, the best defense is always to ignore it. And I know that. I'm not a fucking idiot. Third, I don't need to defend myself anyway, because at this point, there's nothing you can do to hurt me. Try though you may, you absolute goblins.
I'm glad you recognize that.
I planted the seed, and this is simply my attempt to nurture the crop to harvest. Does that make sense? No? Great.
Yeah, what was up with that farming?
The discourse is about Gen Z queer people online saying things like, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, and casual reminder that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid. And my claim that these statements are hard to figure out.
Contrapoints has a lot of knights. Yeah, and unlike my knights, they're not trying to like stab her with any lances.
Nope.
Holy or otherwise.
I'm not saying they aren't valid. I have never been big on deciding what is valid. If you're a horny asexual who loves to fuck, by all means continue with my maternal blessing. But surely you see that, to most people, the statement, I'm a horny asexual who loves to fuck, is, at face value, confusing, contradictory, and in so many words, hard to figure out. Something I get the sense that people say these things in part because they enjoy the provocation of the seeming contradiction. Not entirely false, probably. But maybe I'm wrong. Just to be safe, I'm going to use my platform.
Chat, what do you want to do on? I'm gonna try to be on Twitch later after this. What do you want to do on Twitch? Write it in the comments. In the comments.
Why these seemingly contradictory statements might in fact make sense. One thing I see.
You shouldn't trust knights. Just look at the Crusades. Dude, I fucking hate the knights. They're fuck them.
A lot of people saying is that asexuality really means lack of sexual attraction rather than no libido.
No, they're already after my blood. They're already after my blood. Chat.
Libido? I don't know how to say this word.
Hades. Tripersona.
People might still desire sex, even
We're getting sort of towards the end game. They've mentioned the knights now, and feels bad.
Any specific object-oriented attraction. If that seems counter.
I'm more into ninjas. I like ninjas too.
Intuitive, consider that people often have sex for reasons other than sexual attraction. To feel attractive, to sustain a marriage, for money, etc. And that sex might still be enjoyable. I myself have had sex with people I wasn't attracted to and occasionally even enjoyed
Persona?
it. It's fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, we're getting there, chat. We're really getting towards that end game. It's pretty cool. It's pretty scary. It's I've been playing this game since January. You realize that?
For another example, sometimes straight people have gay sex just to get off. It's a thing. So it makes sense that some people who never experience sexual attraction still might enjoy having sex, and in such a case, they could aptly be described as horny asexuals who love to fuck. I have a master's in philosophy.
Oh my god, yes.
Next page. Class,
wait,
turn
she
over.
ended up
Next
getting her
page
master's?
in the textbook, okay? Part 2. The gay heterosexuals.
I know she was going for her doctorate, but I don't think she got that, but yeah.
Gay describes a sexual orientation, but it also describes a community and culture.
I completed enough schooling to have a master's. Unfortunately, I was in a doctorate program, so it didn't really work out that well for me. Now I'm just a really well-educated kickboxing instructor with no ability to teach kickboxing because it's COVID.
So
my other job is a massage therapist. These are not jobs I can do. So like, hey, if you want to click that link tree and make things a little easier for me, I would appreciate that so much. It'll make it so much easier for me to continue to be a streamer.
Pick the most charitable.
Because like at this moment, that's all I can do, honestly.
Example I can think of: some straight trans people continue to identify as gay because they remain deeply connected to the gay or lesbian community they belong to pre-transition. I think this is fine and valid.
Oh,
though,
yeah.
At face
okay,
value,
I get that.
when you say I'm straight but still gay, it sounds like you're describing some sort of sexual identity quantum superstition. I feel a twinge of irritation, probably because I feel that this kind of fluidity is not available to gay trans people. I suspect, for example, the community would be irritated at me if I identified as both a lesbian woman and a heterosexual transvestite. But I guess I should have thought...
I mean, I can relate to this, chat. Just like Contra, I have trouble communicating. Just like Contra, sometimes I say things that when I'm upset that end up hurting people. And just like Contra, I always feel like there's not enough time to adequately even explain, what I'm thinking. That's what I did too. I got a master's, but I dropped out before I got PhD.
Of that before being an autogenophilic menace to society. God, I
kind of prefer people to mispronounce that word, honestly.
Depressed. Watching in horror as I type this out. Where's my jewel? Look at you can call me... Look, you can call me a very old boomer. That's fair. A very old boomer MILF.
As long as you're not trying to call yourself a old-fashioned transsexual anymore.
Just Gen Z that uses a cryptic, provocative discourse style. I originally started Contrapoints partially out of frustration that millennial SJW activists were attempting to communicate basically true and important ideas in an extremely inarticulate, irrational, sloganeering, dogmatic, no, I will not elaborate on that, and if you disagree with me, you're the enemy, rhetorical mode that was off-putting to almost everyone. I always
You've got a master's too.
Wanted to be understood, to explain myself clearly and patiently to people who just...
I should have just gone for a master's, honestly. If I'd got a master's in public health, oh my god. That would be the ticket right now. That would be the ticket. I could have done that, but my advisor convinced me to do med school, yeah. You're too smart. You're gonna do med school.
Really didn't get it. And now that Gen Z is leading online discourse, I find myself irritated.
I mean, it was fun though. I learned a lot.
By the same rhetorical...
I just didn't want to have a job that involved okay, let's see, I'm going to work today. What am I gonna do? Oh yeah, I'm gonna glove up and do a prostate exam. I'm gonna do some vaginal exams. Gonna do a few breast exams. That invasive exams, chat. I just have an emotional block on. I can't do it. I feel the just even we were working on medical models, right? And I I feel anxiety for them, even though they're medical models, and they've gotten over their anxiety long ago, and this is like they get paid for this, and it's not really a problem. If I can't do it to medical models, there's no way I can be examining not like actual patients like that. So it wasn't gonna work out.
Trends that used to bother me in millennials, but now I sound old when I complain about it.
I don't think I deserve mine. I was a terrible student.
If there's an observation here beyond boomer irritation with rhetoric, I guess it's that a lot of queer communities' discourse online has been so addled by excess gatekeeping that the backlash to the gatekeeping has now taken center stage, with some weird consequences. So much discourse is about the rights and validity of, for example, lesbians who are attracted to men, trans people who don't transition, asexual people who desire sex. It's weirdly at odds with the broader purpose of these communities, which is to support women attracted to women and their hard-fought right not to be with men, gender transition, whatever that means to you, and people who don't experience sexual attraction. I get that combating excess gatekeeping is necessary. I just find it a little alienating how much the discourse centers these issues. Maybe I should...
Contra, I relate to you. This happened to me once. Okay, I had a similar reaction, and it was in this case. One of my friends is non-binary, and they, I don't know what I'll say they, because I'm not sure what their pronouns are. Right now, they were a little bit back and forth on those, so I'll just say they. But granted, that this person might use he, him pronouns at this time, but they brought in some material for class that the teacher wasn't covering, because we were talking about transgender medical care, and they had access to some resources, right? So some videos, right? And they brought these in, and the thing that wasn't included in these resources was like any representation of completely like gender conforming trans people, and I actually felt left out. But when I thought about it, it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, maybe this is backlash. It's not really backlash. I don't know. I guess what was I like? Yeah. I had I felt alienated. I felt that what Contra felt. And I had to remind myself that, like, society understands my gender identity better than it understands the people that were at the center of the resources that my friend brought in. And I got over it. And I didn't share, some kind of hot take. Wait, no, I did. I said something about that. I think I said something about that. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't get canceled. I didn't get yelled at. Nobody fucking had a problem with it. But I still feel a little bit weird about it. I feel like I was being a little bit fragile.
Keep that feeling to myself. And all of this is all a terrible mistake. Or maybe there's something more to discuss here. I don't know, honestly. I think about it for some more. Sorry for the trouble. So yeah, okay? You can say a lot about Natalie Contrapoints, okay? But one thing,
I mean, we always do, right?
You cannot say is that she isn't good faith, okay? So she made this tweet that got a lot of attention and a lot of criticism, and instead of doubling down on it, keeping it up there, being like, I'm not even gonna try to understand your perspective, you're dumb as fuck, she did her best to like learn about a given subject that was being talked about. And
I wonder if she was learning about it, though. I get the feeling that she knew this was somewhat planned. This was a takemeister, and you can have opinions about it. Like there's some weird. It's weird, chat. This is how discourse works now, though. If you want attention, what you do is you come out with a controversial point of view that's going to get a lot of pushback. That you're going to be canceled for 2.5 seconds. You're falling through the air. You're canceled, and then what happens is it's like you get the you're swinging through space, and all of a sudden you kind of grab onto the Earth's gravitational field, and as you're going this way towards cancellation, you kind of hook onto the gravity of the Earth, and you swing around just like a satellite or the Voyager, the like Explorer, what are those things called? The Voyager, they go like, and you swing around the planet and you go back in the other direction. And so instead of getting canceled, you're headed towards cancellation. You swing your momentum around, and you end up better. you end up getting likes, you get subs, you get, you're a bigger, you've increased your clout instead of diminishing your clout. That's the idea of a takemeister. And that's kind of how this works. And I mean, like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I guess I prefer discourse to be more straightforward, but for better or for worse, that's how discourse operates in this social media sphere.
Approach it with a good faith effort and try to steelman the sort of like opposing argument, I suppose, to what she would say. Now in the second half,
I don't know where steelmanning. Oh, I mean, I guess I got okay.
She goes.
This is like debate bro terminology, though. I don't know how I feel about this.
Into it a bit more and explains the purposes of our argument. I'm going to develop on that a lot, because I think that overall, this is a
better than contrapoints at what? Failing out of school.
Pretty defensible tweet, and I think that the sort of
dropping out of school. I guess I didn't fail out. I dropped out.
Or the way of like using language that is being used here to like justify statements like "I'm a sexual slut who loves sex." You don't have to be trans, which Natalie didn't even touch, because I don't know, even with the best like faith, interpretation, how that could work, because like I don't have to be trans is like literally like I'm not A if I'm A. Like it just logically doesn't make sense. And then the last one, casually reminded that heterosexuality doesn't make your gayness any less valid. Now she does point out like niche situations in which these like words can.
To be fair to Win, she was driven into addiction by cancellations. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about blaming marginalized people who, like, granted, I will admit that some people might have, mistaken her intent. Some people might be putting words in her mouth that aren't there. But, like, and some people, probably went too far in their criticism of her. But I don't know how I feel about blaming marginalized people's reactions to blaming addiction on that, right? Addiction is a very complicated thing, and I definitely don't want to do the kind of basic bitch thing of like, oh, you got addiction, that's your own fault, you just got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No, not even close. Okay, I don't blame people for their addictions. I do look at it as a as an illness, right? But I don't like the idea of trying to lay that blame on. It almost feels like tone policing marginalized people, right? To kind of blame it on them. It is complicated though, and I think I know where you're going from that. I don't think you're coming from like a bad place, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. This is complicated. Oh my god, chat. This is getting into like some content that I'm going to be doing in the future, talking about the concept of abuse and how wide the definition of that word has spread. And I'm not entirely sure what my take is going to be. I'm learning about this. I'm considering this. I'm trying to understand this better, but it's so complicated, addiction, and paring it down to like, yeah, these fucking people came and canceled me, and listen, if I got addicted, or if I experienced addiction as a result of, I got canceled, okay, and I took that and I said, Dylan Burns, you made me no, that's wrong. I'd be doing wrong. It's more complicated than that.
Work in in a productive way, not necessarily a productive way, but that they can work in a sort of like semantical or logical way.
I mean, I can blame Dylan for you could say that he's got some responsibility for the material conditions that pushes my life into, right? But the idea that like he'd be responsible for a complicated disease process, or I don't know if maybe you don't want to call it disease, but an illness like addiction, I don't feel like that's right.
And makes sense. However,
Oh, what was her first cancellation? Does anybody remember? What was Contra's first? Hey, do you know what's really weird though? Here's what Contra's first cancellation wasn't about. Okay, when Contra started out, very early in her, not super early, but like, I mean, after transition, but a long time ago, Contra did a video called Decrypting the Alt-Right. This one's still up, right? Because she, it was after after she had transitioned. And she played a character in that video called Freya. Freya was a Nazi. Freya was an alt-right, somewhat crypto, but not really that crypto Nazi, okay? And to do this, to achieve the look of Freya, Contra had to buy Nazi paraphernalia. Contra had to wear Nazi paraphernalia. Now, I don't think anybody thinks that Contra's a Nazi, right? The whole point of the video was to make normies aware of the low-key Nazis that walk among us. So I don't think Contra was, like, this wasn't, I'm not fucking going there, right? But I'm surprised, given what Contra did get in trouble for, that Contra never really had a lot of pushback on because I'm like imagining if I'm Natalie and I'm getting ready for this video, what do? Go on Amazon and look for Nazi? I don't think you can buy Nazi shit on Amazon. Where do I go? Where do I go to buy Nazi shit, chat? Do you have to go to a Nazi Etsy? No, probably Etsy doesn't sell this shit. Who fucking sells this shit? Where do you actually have to go to buy this shit, chat? I don't know how you get beyond the idea that you have to buy something from a Nazi to achieve Freya. If you want to cosplay Freya, you kind of have to. I don't know how you get beyond. I don't know if there's like, right, there's not like an anti-fascist store that like, yeah, we took this stuff off of Nazis that we beat up and we're reselling it to you. I don't think that exists, chat. I think you have to buy this stuff from a Nazi. And wow, like, I mean, that actually does seem a little yikes to me. And I agree, we shouldn't blame people who were upset by what she's done. I just mean that in her case, cancellation had a real... Yeah, and I want to honor that, okay? Because I think that at least... I mean, God, I don't know, it's so complicated. Because for me, there was a big... this has affected my income severely. And it's worrisome. And, like, my fate isn't set, my fate isn't sealed, chat, but things don't look very good for me right now. I am not treading water financially. I am having a lot of trouble financially, and it is no small part due to that cancellation. So I don't want to minimize that. I also don't want to minimize the loss of friends through cancellation. I don't want to minimize the degree to which the truth is still tying its shoes while the lie has traveled around the world multiple times. I don't want to diminish the pain that Contra might have felt. I just really that was one thing about her cancellation video that I didn't like, the idea that I'm gonna fucking drink and it's your fault. I don't know, that feels manipulative, that feels weird.
I think that's used.
Casual reminder that you can be trans without being trans. Tweet Contra was referring to. I couldn't find it either. Contra was making that up, or the person. Oh yeah, the person who had the original take was taken down. I feel weird about blaming marginalized people for addictions too. I'm not sure. I'm sure it was tough for Natalie. Yeah, this is really complicated stuff, and I don't want to oversimplify it. There's a lot of nuance here. People react to stress in different ways. True. Better at saying what you mean and not being a fence sitter. Oh, thanks. I forgot. Yeah. I don't know. Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember what her first cancellation was? I don't really remember.
Using that type of vocabulary in those types of ways, especially like she pointed out that, hey, it seems like there are some people who...
Oh yeah, chat. Go follow Rose Wrist. I don't... Oh god, I'm saying this as this is somebody who debated Lauren Southern. I don't know. Maybe you make up your own mind. Maybe I shouldn't give the endorsement.
Occasionally do it because it's sort of very provocative, and who then levy off that to just say you're a bigot. And you can see this in both the responses to this tweet here and the quote tweets, and to the responses to the original tweet, which I can no longer find because the original tweet was deleted. But regardless, let's try to explain here why this type of language is just generally not productive from a linguistic perspective, and also from like
there are a lot of base takes from Rose Wrist, and I don't think that debating Lauren was a good idea. I really hate that. I really hate how normalizing Lauren, the effect that that's had. Okay, I think it was a bad choice. It was a really bad choice by Rose.
Political movement perspective. So number one, the words become incredibly confusing and language becomes less precise. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, Rose, there are already like 6 different definitions for every word, but we still make that word, but you're not complaining.
I only discovered YouTube left around the Buck Angel thing. Oh, that's right, the Buck Angel thing. Yeah. And that was a weird one, because I don't think that Natalie did that on purpose. I don't think she knew. Listen, at the time when Natalie brought on Buck Angel, I thought Buck Angel was fine. All I knew about Buck Angel is he's a trans guy and he's a porn star, and I was like, that's fucking cool, right? I didn't really know about the rest. But if you look into it, he is not just an edgy boomer, okay? He is not just, not PC. The dude calls himself red-pilled. The dude, is part of, went on Rose of Dawn, which, Rose of Dawn, bad. Rose Wrist, not nearly, Rose Wrist, okay. Rose of Dawn, bad. Rose of Dawn is like a Blair White wannabe from the UK, right? She wants to be the British Blair White, basically. And, Buck Angel went on there and they were talking about like, hey, we got this new thing called alt-trans, as in alt-right for trans people. That's what they're talking about. That's what Buck Angel is. He's alt-right trans. That's who Buck Angel is. So yeah, bad choice by Natalie. But I don't think she knew. And I think that at the moment she had recognized, hey, I kind of like didn't do a good job. Because when we platform somebody, especially when you're like Contrapoints, you give your fans the implicit understanding that, hey, this person's all right. And that's why you kind of got to look a little bit deeper into who they are than just be like, oh yeah, trans porn star guy, yeah, cool, right? No, not cool.
About that, why are you complaining about this? Well, the key
trans guys knew about him.
That changes those different definitions.
I don't think people outside that community knew. Yeah,
and different ways.
So yeah, it's weird. On one hand, I want to forgive her, but like then she doubled down, and that's not cool.
Interpreting those words is that it depends.
But do I hate her? No, I value her work. I value her as a creator. I've learned a lot from her. Like I don't know. I don't hate her. I hate what happened, but yeah. I don't know, it's complicated. That's my whole take for this whole thing. It's complicated.
In the context, and it's fairly easy to figure out based on the context. However, in these cases where you're having like literal discussions that are very sort of like niche and intricate when it comes to LGBT issues, then it feels very difficult to have like 6 or like 2 or 3 very fleshed out definition of one word that is used practically in this.
I like her videos a lot, and I like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Same context every
Tim Pool. Wait, who, me? Am I Tim Pool? Yeah.
It becomes very
complicated.
And it makes language less precise.
Wait, is that what the comment was? I don't know.
And I think for a lot of other people as well, having precise language is incredibly important for when it comes to being able to explain things properly. And to be extraordinarily clear, I do believe that there are people that exist and that are experiencing the things that Natalie talks about here in her tweets. Whether she's talking about the asexual person who enjoys the act of sex but doesn't experience sexual attraction, or the heterosexual person that feels still connected to the gay community and therefore refers to that as gayness. I do believe that there should be words for describing these people's experiences. 100%, because it's differentiated from like a regular experience, and it's important that there are words to describe it. But instead of making new words and new concepts that we can use to carry on this meaning and to use that utility, we kind of just like add stuff. We just like pile things onto existing definitions. And this leads to very, very, very generally confusing statements and ones that are very intuitively contradictory. And even though, okay, I wish we lived in the base reality in which everybody had to take at least 7 hours of like sex and gender studies every day. Fuck it. We don't live in that world. And when it comes to actually securing material, like rights and, privileges and removing disprivileges from LGBT people, it is important that we make our movement as easy to understand and as like, you know, like, what's it called? Yeah, as straightforward as possible. Now, I don't think we should sacrifice sort of like ease of understanding for like descriptive utility, and that's why I'm in favor of adding like more words for this, which you can learn about and you can understand when you go deeper into the topic. But just piling like more and more definitions onto existing words makes that harder. It makes language less precise, it makes words have less utility, and it's more confusing, and it's more alienating for a whole bunch of people who try to like get into this or try to like understand what's going on, or who may already be part of the LGBT movement, but may just be generally a bit older and don't keep up with the Twitter sort of, the Twitter LGBT discourse. So overall, what I think that this type of use of language does, which, like, come on, it is intentionally provocative, it is intentionally confusing, is that it makes language less precise, and it's alienating to a lot of people. It's entirely possible, and we should be able to, like, you know, talk about these.
Well, Rose, listen, if you're watching, I don't know if you watch these, but I would say that intentionally confusing, you might be assuming something there that's not true. What's mixed in there is an attempt to explode the binary. That's what we talk about when we say, you know, gender accelerationism, right? It's pointing out the absurdity of our models of gender by pushing the concept of gender until it breaks. And I don't know if you call yourself a gender abolitionist or a gender liberationist, but if you are of either of those viewpoints, you should want that.
Experiences in proper ways by using like words that apply to them without having to like hurt language or hurt the movement as a whole overall. Because fundamentally, and it seems like we keep forgetting this, and this isn't just the case for LGBT issues, this is the case for all forms of political issues. The key goal is not to have the most sort of convoluted, purity-tested ideology that you can signal to other people to illustrate, you know, how well read or however, you know, whatever.
Well, okay. Here, I'll agree with Rose Wrist in that if anybody is, you know, getting mad at people for not knowing this stuff, for being ignorant of this stuff, I don't agree with that. I you know what I mean? I think that we're trying to do something kind of complicated here, and we should have some patience. That being said, the kind of reflexive, you know, pushback on this without any attempt to understand it, that bothers me too. So yeah, there's oh god, I'm being Tim Pool.
Wherever you are.
Here, I'm gonna have to get the beanie, chat. I'm gonna have to get the Tim Pool beanie.
The core goal of all political movements is to affect
because it's nuanced. It's complicated.
It's to affect change in reality.
I guess I'm sitting on the fence here a little bit. At the end of the day,
that is the ultimate standard that we should hold our rhetoric to when it comes to being productive. And I feel that these types...
Well, it's not just rhetoric, Rose. Like, that's a very DebateBro framework to fold things into, right? It's not all rhetoric. It's identity. That's what we're talking about here. And seeing it as rhetoric, that's, you know, I don't know. That's... You got to get your head out of Vaush's ass.
These type of phrases, the use
and by
of
which
these
I mean
words
you got to get your mind out of the DebateBro mind prison.
This type of way directly harms that goal. And when it comes to, like, you know, people intentionally doing that to be sort of like contradictory or whatever, and then that piled on top of the trend that, you know, Contrapoint talks about here, which is the no, I will not elaborate on that, and if you disagree with me, you're the enemy type of rhetoric, is just unproductive as a whole. Why
okay, it's yes and no. Marginalized people don't owe you education if you are ignorant of their lives, okay? You can't do that. You can't put that on them. They are not signing up to be educators. That being said, those of us who do like to educate, those of us who do like to talk about this, those of us who have enough spoons to deal with this, because sometimes marginalized people do not have enough spoons to deal with this, I think that we should strive to help people along in their understanding. But yeah, like I said, I don't like, yelling at somebody just for being ignorant if their ignorance isn't intentional or God, what is it, like hostile, right? There's just legitimately not knowing versus not knowing and having a shitty attitude towards marginalized people because of it, right? Because you don't understand.
Try to make your political message harder to understand for people. You want it to be easy, you want it to be straightforward, you want it to be approachable, you want it to be repeatable, you want it to make sense, and you want it to be agreeable. And specifically trying to overload words and use them in contradictory.
Wait, do you understand what what that's doing? Like the words are overloaded, the words are contradictory. We're pushing the envelope. We're pushing language to the breaking point on purpose, Rose. Do you understand this?
Intuitively confusing ways is just not conducive to that general goal.
But it is conducive to getting to an expanded definition, an expanded space for people to express gender that's not locked into either a binary or a limited set of, tags, right? We want to be able to express our subjective experience to other people.
And then, furthermore, there's also an issue with, I think is a broader issue, which is when it comes to co-opting existing terminology or LGBT struggles or whatever, and adding on a bunch of new material or saying that exact concept as it is applies to this as well.
Wait, isn't that how language works? Isn't that how language grows?
Now, there's nothing wrong with making comparisons between language, being trans as an identity or as an experience compared to...
Language is one of two things. It's either dynamic or it's dead. Okay? If you don't keep moving, you ossify. And dead languages are very, dead, there's no, Latin, right? But you know what I mean? Dead language as in a definition that refuses to be expanded, a definition that refuses to change, a definition that insists upon itself as an objective truth. That's a dead definition. And those are inherently less useful.
Do something else, but trying to equate them as much as possible where you're like, Yeah,
it shouldn't be an inquisition, exactly. Maybe Contra's post falls into the category of make up a person and then get mad at them. This is what Vaush does all the time. And then get mad at them. Then the people who felt misunderstood were expressing their frustration. If anyone wants clarification, they can just ask the person. That's an idea. Ghastly, that's a great idea. Rose, that's a great idea.
Identifying as a deer is just like me being trans, lol. You're literally doing the 2015 sort of conservative right-wing memes, right?
Doe? Are you alt-right? And in case you're not getting what I'm saying, no, Doe is not alt-right.
Don't try to co-opt
Why does everybody have I feel like Doe just constantly gets subtweeted.
Social movements, LGBT social movements that are doing well with a bunch of other stuff, just because you want to be as hyper woke as possible.
Rose, you don't understand. You don't understand. That's not what's going on. Okay, listen. I haven't always seen eye to eye with Doe, okay? In fact, there's one time in particular where Doe was a super meanie butt to me. But putting this shit on Doe, that's wrong.
Let's try to...
Oh no, my gender identity isn't marketable to the right-wingers. Oh.
Separate these, struggles.
Language needs to change. It's always changing. If not, it would be able to read Shakespeare without a glossary. Yeah, exactly.
Struggles decently enough. There should be interplay between them all, because that's the nature of the movement. But when you try to load, so much baggage and something new every day to an existing struggle or an existing word or an existing experience or existing, terminology... What that does is it just dilutes the meaning of that as a whole. And it makes it harder for people to get on board with it. It makes it harder for people to understand it. So
there was a time where what Rose just said would have pushed me back into the closet.
Overall, once again, when it comes to this specifically, no, I don't think that, like Natalie or Contrapoint should have been canceled.
Oh wow, the chat's not Rose's chat isn't super happy with this
at all. It would have been cool if she would have, like, if this tweet had come and it included this follow-up, that would have been excellent. I think her follow-up was really good because holy shit, that is a unbelievable sort of
well, I'm glad she did the follow-up. I agree with Rose on some of this stuff. I feel like you're missing out, Rose, though. I feel like there's something that you're missing. Hey, why don't you bring if you really want to know about this stuff, bring Doe on. Rose, if you're watching this, I don't know if Doe will come on, right? Because Doe has been kind of abused. It's been, misunderstood. It's been strawmanned. I wouldn't blame Doe for not wanting to interact with, debate types. After what Doe's been through, but it's worth asking it. It's worth asking Doe.
What's it called? Like and
it's better than just subtweeting the fuck out of it.
Incredibly good steel man of a position that she's received a lot of like condemnation, towards, or like for having an opposing position to that, and she expresses them in a good way while at the same time formulating her argument, which I've done here less eloquently and in a lot more words. But I think I added a few more things that she couldn't have included in this unless she wanted to add like 6 more pages of notes to this follow-up tweet. But yeah, overall, Contrapoint still based. What she said here made sense. At least to me. I'm not an expert on this topic, so if anyone disagrees with me, just let me know. But yeah, I think that there is a purpose here and there is a value in pointing out like harmful trends in the way that a lot of the online...
Well, I'd say that one harmful trend is the lack of willingness of debate bros to ask questions and to try to understand something, and the willingness that they have to criticize without really, remaining at least somewhat ignorant. And Rose, I think you're a little bit ignorant on this. Not that, I'm not trying to insult you, but like I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand.
Media especially discusses LGBT issues. That is counterproductive to the end goal of any political or social movement, which is material liberation for these disenfranchised groups.
Material liberation?
You will never believe.
Okay. Anyway, this is Rose Wrist. Listen, what time is it now? Okay. I'm thinking in an hour and a half, I'll probably be on Twitch. We'll play some Persona. It'll be fun. And I've got some stuff that I want to talk about. I don't know if I'll bring it out tonight or if it'll have to wait till tomorrow. But I've been doing a lot of thinking about my trajectory as a creator and some things that I've done in the past that I'm not super proud about, and I want to talk about that. So make sure to check me out later tonight on Twitch, right? Because I'm still doing Twitch. I got one foot in YouTube, one foot in Twitch. We're moving more towards YouTube, but we're still at Twitch. So yeah, check out my Linktree if you want to help me out. I am very much in need of your money. I can put it to a lot of good use. And hell, chat, if you give me enough to survive on, maybe I can upgrade my stream stuff too, huh? So I'd really appreciate that. All that stuff is down in the Linktree below in the description. So check that out. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And I will see you over on Twitch.